Hey, all you cool cats and gamers! Welcome to Victory Lap, the GDQ hotfix show that highlights recent world record and PBs and the runners that made it happen. I'm your host, Nuclear Reaction, and tonight we've got two great runners to showcase. First off, we have the Haxer showcasing his recent PB of Super Mario Bros. 3. Before we get started, though, I do have a couple announcements. SGDQ 2022 on-site volunteer applications are closed. But if you'd like to help with any of our off-site volunteering positions, keep your eyes on our website and Twitter for more information upcoming. Also, hello if you're watching from YouTube. Go to twitch.tv/GameStoneQuick if you're interested in looking at our live content, starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. Your subs, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, and bits help support weekly hotfix content. Please consider supporting our daily content if you enjoy these hotfix shows. All right, we're going to get the ball rolling here. I'm really excited to see Haxer. I know, Haxer, you already broke down this run on your own channel.
Yes.
I'm happy we get to showcase it here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got a few better tools than I had at the time, though. So, hopefully that helps me a little bit with the breakdown. So
that handy dandy like Telecaster technology going on where you can draw over your run. It'll be really interesting. And I think I know this was a PB you were super excited about. How long have you been grinding for this?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've had a couple different grinds. Last year, I was trying to get the sub 51. Had a pretty extended grind, got a little burnt out in it. I had some issues with luck in the run that I didn't have this time around. So, and we'll obviously talk about that further. There's a significant number of elements of luck in the run that influence the time quite a bit for this category. So, thankfully this run, it gets pretty lucky. It could get luckier, but it gets pretty lucky. So
I feel like in a way you almost maybe want that window open for a little bit of better luck in the future, but it's hard to say with RNG and certain runs, and every run is a little different. I know there's definitely some harsh RNG in SMB 3.
It's one of those things where even if you get really lucky, there's so many other things that can occur that there's probably a lot more luck you can still get to go your way. So, but yeah, at any rate, I had that grind. This one wasn't too long, actually. I think I really took a break for like 2 months. I didn't really play the game at all, not even practice or anything. And then I came back, started working offline a bit, getting back into shape. And then I was doing attempts for maybe 2 to 3 weeks before this run actually happened. So
not too bad. It's probably sometimes helpful to take that step away as well.
I mean, you got a little burnt out, just needed some time away to start enjoying the game again. So I think that was key for me anyway.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So whenever you're ready to start diving into the run, you have control of the video, so go ahead.
Let's go. So yeah, we'll get started here. You're going to get to see a lovely reset right off the bat. So I missed an A press on the castle there, which is why it reset. But I'll explain why that's important later. As we talk about boss patterns at a certain point. So I want to kind of stop. Well, actually, let me run a little bit here. So I kind of want to stop here and just talk about P-speed a little bit. And this is going to be something that you see consistently throughout the run. So P-speed, maintenance, and building is really important in Mario 3. And you wouldn't think maybe, building it a little later makes that much of a difference. Sometimes it really does. So this is one of those cases. So the importance here is I'm going to build P-speed, and I'm going to try to do it about right here. And then you're going to see me do like a turn back and P-speed keep over the plant. To save a little bit of time. So I don't have enough clearance to jump without the turn back and clear the plant. But with this little turn back, and then keep, building the P speed first before the turn back, because there are frame rule checks for when your P meter down here is building. So once you start building that first arrow, the game checks every 8 frames until you get up to the P there. So the key is to get it built before I do the turn back and then the jump over the plant. So you'll see this shortly. I just wanted to point this out at the beginning because this will be something that you'll see consistently throughout the run. So without further ado, we'll continue and see what I'm talking about. So yeah, as you can see right there, the turn back. And then the reason we grab this mushroom here is because we're going to then get a leaf in the fortress to later on to skip a significant portion of that level by grabbing the whistle. So yeah, we don't have to beat the boom boom in the fortress, which would be slower. Grabbing the whistle is actually the fastest way to beat the level. But for us to have a leaf, we need to have first Super Mario, as I do here. And this is just the fastest mushroom to get on our way there. So that is why we get that one. The rest of this level is kind of just like jump for success. You can see I do a bit of a duck jump there to kind of clear those enemies and not run into them so I don't take damage, because obviously I want to keep the mushroom if I'm going to grab it. Doesn't really make much sense to lose it. So and yeah, so I actually want to pause there real quick in the overworld. Oh, hold on, let me go back to the overworld here. All right, so I should talk about the cards too. So ideally, we don't want to get the 3 of a kind match. So usually what you're going to see throughout the run is star, mushroom, star. That's usually how it goes. Sometimes it's weird. You'll get a flower card just running into it with P speed, but it is kind of unusual for that to happen. It's because for some reason, the card spawns on a flower and stays on a flower for a differing number of frames. So there's even a little bit of RNG when it comes to the card grabs here. So it's a little interesting. So when I'm doing some of these worlds, I want you guys to pay attention to these guys here, these hammer bros. So this guy can either move left here, right, or right to the castle, and then he has to go back to this open square. This actually makes a big difference which way he goes here, right? So going to the castle is going to give me 2 movements, whereas moving left is going to give me 1. And each movement is roughly about half a second. So each extra movement I get from this hammer bro is going to cost me roughly half a second. So just kind of keep that in mind. Less important in World 1, doesn't affect the time as much because I don't play a ton of levels and he can't give me a ton of different movements, but it is important nonetheless for the rest of the run. So get a movement of 2 there. So lost a half second over what I could have gotten. And I kind of want to stop here too, because this is a weird level. This is one of the most annoying levels to learn when you first start speedrunning the game. And it's all related from subpixels, or it's all related to subpixels, whether or not you can get this P speed. So an explanation of subpixels, think of, Mario's location right now. What we see on the screen is a pixel. Think of if you could take a microscope and blow up that pixel and examine his actual position within that pixel. That would be like a subpixel. Okay, so it's a fraction of an individual pixel that you can't visually see. So in Mario 3, there are subpixels 0 through 15, just arbitrarily numbered because there are 16x subpixels. So these are what we concern ourselves with here. If I get 14 or 15 in this level, I will never get P speed at the beginning. So what that means is if you're doing the math, about 88% of runs continue from this point, and then about 12.5% are then reset. So just keep that in mind. We'll talk more about subpixels later. They become more important in later worlds, but even at the beginning here, we have a little bit of subpixel dependency. So obviously I get some good subpixels here, thankfully. Get the early P speed build there, having to run on those pipes as long as possible in order to do it, and then, jump for success all the way to the end, of course. So, and again, getting the mushroom card, as I don't want the fanfare to lose additional time. This is a little bit of weird P meter manipulation. You're going to see that I want to land on this platform as early as possible. And then I'm going to jump around right on this block and land on the next one early as possible to build P speed. You're going to see a lot of things like this occur throughout the run to just continuously build that P speed and get it. Because if I jump here, grind this entire platform, jump to the next one, I'm actually not going to get it. And the reason is, as I explained in the first level, is that P meter frame rule. So already coming into play here. So this is one of the cool strats in the run. So this looks very neat. So how this works here, the duck jump just gives me extra clearance for this area here. I have to do a turn back, and then I have to do 2 quick jumps, one to hit the block, and then one to jump over and grab the leaf in order to keep P speed and then fly all the way up top here. So that's what we're kind of looking at and hoping to have happen, which if I'm playing this video, that means it did happen. And there we are. So that's the quick leaf grab. Very technical piece of tech there, but looks really neat when it works perfectly. So you're going to see something interesting here. So I'm going to get this leaf, and then I'm going to immediately lose it right here. So P speed works a little differently with the leaf versus Super Mario or Fire Mario or Hammer Mario, basically any other state of Mario, except for Tanuki Mario as well. But once you get P speed with a leaf, and then you jump, your P speed is locked in with a timer. So what that means is when that timer is over, it's actually going to run out. So we don't want the P speed to run out. We want to be able to P speed through this entire level. So I'm actually going to take a damage boost here instead of sliding all the way down the hill, which we will see once I restart the video here. So yeah, just doing that in order to keep the P speed throughout the level. And just doing the jumps as they're supposed to be done. This is a little interesting. You're going to see me bounce off the ceiling here. I don't want to do it here because sometimes this ceiling will actually like grab you and clip you, and it'll cause you to go straight down. So it's important that I don't really hit that spot. There's a cool strat you can do called the tunnel, where you duck jump before this section, and you kind of like slide along the ceiling and land through here. If you've ever watched Mitch play, he does that all the time. I can do it as well. I choose not to do it because if you don't get the tunnel, you actually lose a decent chunk of time here. So this is just done for me for consistency purposes more than anything. So yeah, and again, don't have to worry about the card here because we already got the mushroom. So we're not getting the 3 of a kind. So we just run into it directly and grab the star. All right. So Hammer Bro so far, I believe, has given me all movements of 2, it looks like. Another cool piece here. So we're going to do a full jump from this line right here on this block to the wood block that occurs after this. And it's going to land us flush with the wood block, which is going to allow me to build P speed. And so I don't have to worry about missing the P speed build and, dealing with P speed frame rule stuff. So this is a cool little change from what I used to do, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago at this point. So it's a fairly recent change, I guess. It's probably like 2 years ago that I changed this, but this is just for consistency purposes. We used to jump from this and do a small jump to the block, but just in Mario, anytime you can do either a full big jump or the smallest possible jump, it's going to improve your consistency with the strat overall. So, and ideally, full big jump because it's much easier to hold A than it is to tap A. So, as you can see, landing flush. Going to do some Superman jumps here off the Koopa, skip the intended auto scroller section, and make our way. And we actually, I don't know if you recall, but I was talking about sometimes you'll get a flower. The 1/6 card is notorious for giving a flower for whatever reason. So I did obtain a nice flower there for that reason.
Is there a reason? Do we not know why that is? Yeah. Or
I don't really know if it's like frame dependent stuff or if it's how you play the level. It seems like it's somewhat related to how you play the level. But I'm not really exactly sure how that works. But it would be a nice time save because you wouldn't have to then ever turn back for cards if you could manipulate the right cards to give you something different than a star. So yeah, who knows? It's just for some reason that particular card. Some of it has to do with like the distance from the card when the black screen starts, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. I think that's in 1/6's case. This is kind of interesting because on this particular tile in the overworld, this is actually going to be a fire flower. And I know this, and this is kind of a cool piece of tech. So once I kill the hammer bro here, I'm going to go grab this fire flower. And so the cool thing about these fights is that they're on a timer to end at a particular time every time. So the amount of time that the fight takes is always set. So any power up that I grab within this fight after I've grabbed the chest, of course, because it's based on when you grab the chest, it's not going to cost any additional time. So this is a free power up grab that doesn't cost me any time for the transformation time. So nice, roughly about half-second time save here. So that was actually a really important movement of 1. It saved me an entire second because I got the movement of 1 versus the movement of 2, and then I got the power up as well.
That's super interesting about the power up there.
Yeah,
gives that pattern there.
Yeah. It's
I had no
weird,
idea
that
that's why you grab it after. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. The only key is grabbing it after. You can grab it like right before the fight ends and get a cool sound glitch that a lot of people do. But yeah, there's not too much interesting in the auto scrollers. It's really just don't take damage because I want to be able to fire kill the boss. I know exactly what he's going to do here. The boss patterns are determined based on the time it takes me to complete the last level, in which case this was the hammer bro, to the time it then takes me to enter the pipe at the end of the airship. So what he's going to do is he's going to run forward a bit. He's going to shoot his wand. I'm going to fall in, shoot 2, shoot another 2, jump up on the platform, shoot the final 6 is what you're going to see here.
Is there a certain pattern you're looking for then to get, or you just know?
That, ideally, it's that pattern. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the easiest pattern for this guy. So there's a few different patterns depending on, if I didn't fight the bro there and fought it before 1/6, I would get a slightly different variation of this pattern. So it's a little tougher just because he shoots his wand a little sooner and sometimes it comes out at a really weird angle. So, and we've got the nice cutscenes here, just basically waiting for them to end, trying to get them done as quickly as possible, mashing A there. Saw the items, so I didn't get it frame perfect. So here we're going to prime some P-speed using this wall, and that's really the only thing special about this. You can actually keep P-speed running up a wall as long as your jump is sufficiently large. So the key here is going to be the height of my jump after I then rub the wall. I don't want it to be too large because I'll run into the enemy after, but I want it to be large enough that I actually keep the P-speed, because as long as the next P-speed check happens while I'm in the air and I have P-speed, I will continue to build up, because you can slow down a bit and then rebuild up to max P-speed.
Hey, I got a question,
So
guys.
interesting piece of tech there, and it's cool that I get the stars, so I don't actually have to turn back in this section. So it's a nice little, I don't know, couple tenth of a second time save overall. So this is weird because this is one of the few levels that typically you don't see people use P-speed in. You actually use slide speed and try to keep it throughout this level. Slide speed is actually faster than P-speed by a slight margin. It's just really hard to keep because you have to do frame perfect A presses in order to keep the P-speed. So every frame after the first frame that I'm in contact with the ground, I continuously lose slide speed. So there is a P-speed strat to do in this level. It's very technical, and also there's subpixel involvement, and there's a bunch of different ways that it works, but most of the time it doesn't work. It's a nightmare. So most people don't really go for it. But I have been going for it recently, and it's been a great time, let me tell you. So yeah, in this level, basically the key to build this early P-speed I'm going to get is to land in this little pocket here. So I want to land as early as possible after the steps. And what I actually do is I'm going to do a ceiling bump, which will put me at the correct spot. And that's really all there is to this. I got to do some small jumps over this guy. So my visual cue for that is I think it's a really light jump here is what it's going to be. And if yep, right there. And then for this last guy, a really light jump, or sorry, a jump before this line, because if I jump after, I'm actually going to take damage on him. So you'll see me jump right before that line there. And yeah, just keeping P speed. You can actually keep P speed out of the pipes. The key is just, running maybe like a pixel forward and then jumping. And you want, again, have a sufficient height jump. So the P speed check happens in the air, as you'll see here. And then I also don't jump too high so I can clear that block. This section, I just have to wait for this elevator here. Get some P speed, jump on up and over, hopefully enter the door well. I had pretty good door entry, kept the P speed on the other side. And so the Boom Booms here, this is our first Boom Boom fight. So these guys take either 3 stomps or 5 fireballs. So I was able to, that's the important thing is keeping the fire here, because getting the 5 fireballs in is actually about 3 seconds faster on each Boom Boom. So that's why this fire flower is going to be so important throughout the run. I forgot to mention that in the boss fight. The bosses, they actually take 10 fireballs or 3 stomps as well. So you're saving time each time you fight a boss or a mini boss throughout the run. And the reason I jump at him aggressively there is because it decreases the distance between Mario and the Boom Boom, which means I can then hit him with fireballs quicker and then refire quicker. That's really it. It's hard to see here, but there are Hammer Bros on this map, and I'm getting movements over there. You saw him like flash on the mushroom on the other side there. And this strat, this is a new strat, actually, probably been developed within the last year. And it wasn't really even developed by a speedrunner, I don't think. It was just someone randomly found this. So there used to be a red rocket strat where you grab a shell at the beginning of the level, but it caused so much lag that it actually didn't save time. But this strat, because you grab it later, it causes less lag frames throughout the level and actually saves about half a second. So this guy, you're going to see me bounce off of him slightly, land on this step here, and then jump back up and grab him with P speed, and then keep the P speed at the end. And you're going to see this shell, when I let go, it's going to be going like a rocket. So that's why it's called Green Rocket. So it's not the easiest, but a little time save here, about half a second over the way we used to do this. And yeah, that shell is just zooming there. And getting our star cards. So we're going to get our first look on the other side of the map here. So I want to pause here. This guy is actually the Hammer. The reason I know that is because the Hammer Bros, based on what numbered bro they are, face a particular direction after they finish moving. So I know the Hammer in World 2 always faces left after moving. And normally on a screen scroll, like I'm doing here, the bro would actually be facing the other direction. But this bro is so close to the origin of the screen scroll that he's still facing the direction that he faces after moving. So I know this is the Hammer. The Hammer in World 2 always faces left because it is Hammer Bro number 2. Hammer Bros 1 and 3 always face right. So a little bit of weird tech there. The reason that's important with the Hammer Bros in this run is ideally you only want to get hammers and clouds. There is one exception in World 3 and World 1, obviously, because you can't avoid that Hammer Bro. But yeah, you only want hammers and clouds. So this level, if you do the jumps exactly how I do them there, the sun actually will never touch you. It always does the same thing regardless. Oh, I was actually wrong. He did move. Wow. I screwed up my own tech here. I guess he was far enough away from the screen scroll that yeah. So I apologize, but this is actually the Hammer. You'll see after, I don't know why it went back so far. There we go. Maybe this is the correct spot. Yeah. So you'll see how he turns left after moving. So that's how I know. So this guy turned right. This guy turned left. So this is the music box up here. And then this is the Hammer. That's what I get for not remembering which level I played. So this kind of dictates whether I play 2.5 or 2.4. 2.4 is slightly faster than 2.5. It's about a second faster, but obviously I wouldn't want to do that here because I need the hammer. The hammer allows me to skip levels. Having to turn back after their speed, man. So yeah, rule number 1 today. Here, I'm hoping the bro moves left, which he doesn't. So I'm going to get extra movements of 2 here. I think I got all movements of 2 in this world. And I've probably expressed my happiness at this in the run at this point, because those aren't insignificant time losses. So another cool piece of tech here in the pyramid. This is a very cool technical level. You probably saw me grab some of those beetle shells and kick them. And then also duck under these pillars. So this actually has an inverted hitbox as it's falling. So you're going to see me jump through it because it's the where you stomp it is actually still here, right? As it's falling in the air. But once it hits the ground, then it inverts back to normal. But that's why you can jump up and through it. And this will save a little bit of time here at the end of the level versus not stomping it and kicking it to the right to break the pillar. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about there, and boom. Looks really weird, but that is totally intended, and yeah, that is a mechanic in the game of Mario 3.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much tonight. I've watched so many of these runs, and there's so much just cool movement, and I never understood why.
Yeah, there's so much, and even within these fights, so this guy, if you notice, he moved backwards. So that means the boomerang actually doesn't come out as far over here versus if he moves forward. So this is actually a bit of a time save versus if he moves forward as well. So there's a lot of like really small things within even the patterns of the RNG fights themselves that save or lose time. So, but yeah, again, I'm fighting the Hammer Bro from a weird spot there. Usually I wouldn't fight the Hammer Bro there because I'd fight him on some other square, and I would move from the pyramid to the castle here. So in World 2, you really have to know your boss kills. It's really important based on your power-up status and which tile you're moving from. And also what movements you get from the Hammer Bros, because again, it's from the time that you complete the previous level to the time you enter the pipe on the airship. So I actually kind of get an unusual boss pattern here as a result once we get to the end of the airship, but I've seen it enough that I know exactly what to do. And it's weird because we never used to really fire kill this pattern, but it's kind of easy, and I don't really know why. But at any rate, we'll get to see it here shortly. In the auto scrollers themselves, there isn't a ton of time save outside of just getting in the pipe as soon as possible, obtaining power-ups as you need them, you know, making sure you have the correct boss pattern ready. Sometimes on some of them there are delag strats, but for the most part it just goes and you wait for the end of it and try not to take damage. So he's going to run for it a little bit, shoot his wand, I jump over it there, and then 10 fireballs. And you can see I jump at the wall there. So I'm trying to actually wall jump off here, because you can get up on top of this pillar and then jump over to the wand and catch it off screen. And as you see, after this, there's going to be this falling cutscene. If I'm able to catch the wand off screen, it actually skips the entire cutscene and saves about 4 seconds. So that is a pretty big time save, but it's RNG as well because you have to have the right subpixels. And then the wall jump is frame perfect. And then you have to catch the wand at the right spot. Yeah. So, yeah, not super likely to happen, but it does happen on occasion, and is a really cool piece of tech when it does happen. So yeah, that whole falling part, you would just skip right to this throne room after falling from the airship, instead of seeing Mario actually fall. So the letters obviously always give you the same items, so I know exactly what items I'm getting throughout the run, and hopefully what Hammer Bros I'm going to be fighting. At least This is one of the easiest levels in the run, the speed run. Pretty much anybody could fire this up and learn this really quickly, because all you're doing is swimming to here, jumping up here, getting P speed, jumping from the end of the platform, and then swimming to the pipe. This is, you know, you can make mistakes in this level, but I mean, it's about as easy as it gets here. So again,
jump up
getting
to
the mushroom
the top
card.
pretty easy then?
It is, yeah. As long as you jump out of the water, the key part is holding up. So let me talk about this level, because this is fairly technical P speed. So I'm waiting for this block platform right here to get right at this elbow. And I enter this level holding left, and that's going to align me on the left side of the screen. So once this block platform gets to that elbow, I'm actually going to start running right to build P speed. I'm going to jump at the end of this platform and try to land, you know, early on this platform, run across it, continue to build speed, and then jump to the donut blocks here. So this is a fairly technical P speed build, as you can see here. And then, yeah, you want to land fairly early on these donut blocks here. I don't know why that block's missing on this frame, but it is. And we're going to get P speed by the end of this platform, and then try to keep it throughout the level and doing some crazy jumps off Cheep Cheeps.
I didn't think I was going to get it there.
And that Cheep is RNG, actually, based on where it is. But yeah, it all depends on where you build P speed. Will determine where that Cheep respawns. So
you can
because I build P speed at basic.
Consistent then?
Yeah.
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, I always build it about the same spot. So thankfully, you're gonna see some weird tech here, jumping on the spinner. These things, as long as you land like at this part of the end of the spinner, so it'll be, you know, over here when it stops. You actually won't fall through the spinner, but if I landed towards the center, I'd fall right through it. So small little, you know, piece of tech there. Looks kind of crazy when it happens. Anybody who has ever tried to do that jump will attest to how difficult it is there. So, but yeah, this one, it's not too bad. The jumps at the end look kind of crazy, but they're all the exact same, like medium jumps. So you just kind of get into jump rhythm. Here, I'm gonna just do a jump from, it's like a medium jump from this line really on the pillar. I'm going to land on an orb, and then I'm just going to do a full jump, bounce off the ceiling that pushes me down before the block and get P speed. So before I continue, because like everyone's going to be mad if I don't talk about door 3. There's door 3 as well. It's a trick in this level. Let me go back to the third door. It is a bit of a time save if you can get it. So you can actually get to the end of this level entering this third door here, but you have to do a frame perfect up press on the other side of the door 2 frames before Mario actually appears in the door. So you're doing it off a screen fade with basically no visual cue when Mario isn't on the screen. And if you don't get it, you fall in the water and lose a bunch of time. So if you want to know why we don't do that, it's because of that. But if the run's bad, you may choose to go for this. So, and it saves about 3.5 seconds, so I skip it here and don't go for it. Why would I want to land in the middle? It just sets up the jumps well in 3-3. That's really the only reason I do it, and I don't really ever mess it up. There are different jumps you could do in that level. It's just what I learned how to do. So Hammer Bros here. So I get an upper pattern in this fight, which is, I don't know, it's like half a second to a second slower than the lower pattern. So losing a little bit of time there. And I'm not happy. You can probably hear me swearing there because I can't have that Hammer Bro run away. If that Hammer Bro runs away, this runs over. And I have to reset because the bridge won't be open, and I can't cloud the auto scroller to go to 3.8 to get to the end of the world quickly. So I'm unhappy with the current predicament because I'm in a 50-50 about whether or not this run's going to be reset or not. But at any rate, before we get to that, at the beginning of this level, I'm going to shoot 2 fireballs, take out these enemies in order to get P speed, and then kind of P speed to the end of the level. Here, this is really just not too technical, just knowing exactly what your visual cues are, where to jump from, and then doing the jumps themselves, and then hopefully getting mushroom when you do the turn back for the card. So yeah, I'm dreading resetting here, but thankfully he moves left and gives me a lower pattern, so everything is good in the world. So if you remember, I mentioned I don't want to get stars. I only want really hammers or clouds. This is the one exception because, as you see when I screen scroll here, you see all those bridges. That bridge went up. This bridge then went down, and I can then cloud this level and go to 8. So that's why it was really important for me to be able to fight that hammer bro. Because otherwise, I can't do this.
50-50 3 times there.
This is another level where I'm not going to get P speed. And it's really just throwing those blocks out of the way as fast as possible and avoiding the boss bass. He does the exact same thing every time, as long as you don't get caught up somewhere. And I'm really happy about this mistake. So this is a really stupid mistake to miss the pipe. But what I was trying to do is I'm trying to like jump and land in the pipe with P speed during a jump, because that'll allow me to then do a jump on the other side of the pipe to keep P speed. But I kind of did it late and landed up here, so I lost probably a couple seconds in this level. As you can tell, it's a really great face. I'm very happy about this stupid time loss. Because yeah, the RNG in the run hasn't been great so far, and I'm not doing myself any favors with that. So yeah, on the 3-9 here. So I'm actually going to do a full jump from this block, and there's a Bob-omb on the other side of this that I'm going to jump to. The cool thing about this enemy in particular is jumping off of it always gives you a really consistent small like hop. So I'll let go of A before hitting the Bob-omb. It's going to set me up between 2 of them on the lower portion, which is going to set me up nicely for what we call the H jump. You'll see full jump there between the 2. And then this jump is a little tricky because you have to land on this portion of the block, because if you land over here, you're going to hit the music note, and that won't allow you to clear the H. So you have to really land on the second part of the second half of this block in order to do it. And as you can see, this then allows me to jump over this, which is much faster than having to grab these blocks and then the next set of blocks and throwing them. So that's really the main thing there. For some reason, he didn't grab the block and decided to fire a fireball instead. So for some reason, it seems like there's particular spots you can land on the throw blocks and he won't actually pick them up, and I must have hit it. So I was really happy there too. So basically, I'm really happy about this run so far. It's going great. Honestly, the time that I have through 3 worlds is pretty below average. You'll see what it is, but average for me is about like 15-25, I would say. So again, we have another auto scroller here. This boss always gives the same pattern because the pipe transitions considered the quote level. So she'll always do the same thing, more or less. She might hop forward a little bit versus hop in place, but keeping fire for Wendy is actually really important, because if you've ever tried to stomp kill Wendy, you will know she is a very tricky boss to stomp kill. She jumps all over the place. She's got rings that she throws out that stay in her arena forever until she is gone. So yeah, being able to take her out with 10 fireballs is really important, you know, I guess for the speed of the run, I would say. Because yeah, I don't want to take damage here. This fire is key. I rely on it for a lot of speed strats, so I need to keep it as long as I possibly can. There are 8 worlds. You swim faster throwing a block? You actually do not. I didn't mean to throw it. I do usually mean to keep those, but yeah, you swim the same speed with the block versus without. It's just nice to have it for the boss bass, so you can throw it at him or it'll run into it if your timing's weird in 3-8. That's an FYI. So yeah, this fire keep is actually really important here, because the next stage in World 4 here that I play, I need to make use of it in order to do the P-speed strat. So get some pipe transitions here. I think the first time in the run we see some of these. They're all roughly about the same. So yeah, what I want to do here is I want to snipe this plant before landing, which you're going to see here shortly. And then once I do that, I actually want to run off this without shooting a fireball because I want to be holding B this entire time to continue to build this P meter here. And before I hit this guy, I'm going to shoot a fireball, take him out because I want again be holding B as I hit the ground to continue building this. And as you can see, I started building immediately. I lost an arrow here, but this is fine. So I want to jump up, shoot B again before I land to take this enemy out. And then I'll land here and continue building the P meter. Very nice. And then I do a full jump off the end of that platform to not touch here. I want to land down here. And this is going to allow me to build P speed before I run into this next enemy. And I'll be able to side jump off of him there. So all that has to happen in order for this strat to work. Otherwise, it will not work. And I will not get P speed and I will take damage. So another fairly technical P speed there. And a little risky too, but you know, it's a second faster than the backup strat, which is using the shell. So this is actually some really cool tech. I'm going to jump off this guy and kill him with a fireball at the same time. And that's actually going to despawn the plant on the flat platform here. Once I, of course, grab this as well. So,
Thank you, Ice Block.
yeah, that pipe, that first big pipe usually has a plant in it, but it didn't because of all that. So a little bit of time saved there. Getting that despawn. And then I get to use the block to take out the next plant, and it's a really quick level as a result. So this first bro here I want to fight because it's a cloud. And as I mentioned earlier, clouds and hammers, that's what we're looking for here. That's the only thing we care about, clouds and hammers. This level, these guys can do a few different things. Usually this guy actually jumps, so I had to recognize that he wasn't jumping and jumping over him here. And then you want to jump into this pipe to get some quick P speed on the other side of it, because that'll be important for this bottom section. So I'm going to do this bump off the pipe here to then prime my P meter back up before I get to here. And then we're just going to hop to the end of the level from that point. Using some ceiling bumps there, going to side jump off an enemy there. And then I actually have to hit the ceiling about right here to push me down to land on that beetle to continue going. And then we got a duck jump there to avoid the falling spiny. So this level looks really neat, looks really technical, and it's honestly not. It's not that technical, but it does look cool. And it's most people's favorite level. So yeah, the hammer that I got in World 3, we're going to use to skip the fortress there, because we don't need to play it. This guy is really interesting. So that Lakitu, think of them as magnets, so they move left and right. And it's all dependent on Mario's positioning. So the speed at which I scrolled right determined where he ended up and how I was able to hop off of him and get P speed at the top here. So I'm going to get P speed before the end of this platform. And we're going to see the same concept in play here for this next Lakitu. So it's really important for me to have a good swim rhythm here. So you're going to see it's something like swim, 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 swim is what I do. And then I hop out with the last swim. And we're going to jump off this guy. And he's going to boost me forward because it's faster to hop off enemies than it is to sit in the water. And then we're going to hop on this block. And then very technical here on this block, you're going to see me do a super swim. All you do is you run to the end of this block. You just press down. That's it. You can press down, you know, the further or the closer you are to the edge, the more speed you'll get with the super swim. But yeah, you really, once you're on the second half of the block, you can really just press down and you'll get one. So I didn't get a really good one there, but it's a super-ish swim, I'll say. And again, very cool. I got a flower and then a star, so no turnbacks. A little bit of time save here. Very nice. These Hammer Bros, I do not want to fight, so I will be using my music box here. This level, again, is kind of just taking out some enemies and just knowing where to jump. It's not really too terribly technical. I did do a turn back in the one part to take out one of the piranha plants to land on the pipe, but it's not, you know, it's one of the easier stages in the world. So they switched there. I could have potentially had a boxless setup if this bro moves here, and then this bro would have moved here. But being that they did this, I will just use my music box and then play the fortress. So little bit of tech here. I'm going to land here, do a quick jump, turn back up to here to continue to build P speed. And then I will jump down to here, and I'm going to almost die here, actually, running to the end of this donut in order to build the P meter enough to get P speed on the next platform. So continued building the meter there, get the P speed, and then we're going to side jump off the dry bones there and just jump to the end of the level. And again, 5 fireballs to take out the boom boom.
Made the whole screen lag. What the fuck was that?
And so I know a boss pattern I'm getting because having the Hammer Bros music box is essentially a movement of 1. It's the same thing. So I know exactly what boss pattern I'm getting based on that. Because again, that is determined from the end of the previous level to the end of the next level. And this auto-scroller is kind of bad, so I'm going to try to skip to the end of it because it's really long and boring, to be honest. It's about 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Oh,
so
gosh.
I just saved you guys a lot of time. You're
Easy
welcome.
time
So
save.
yeah,
Just
he's gonna
fast forward.
Yep, exactly. So nobody wants to see that pile, you know. Yeah, nobody wants to see it. So yeah. So yeah, essentially the boss, he just runs to the foot of the platform there. I get my 4 fireball shots in, and then he jumps up. I stomp him and get the remaining 6. That's really the gist of that fire kill there. So this is going to be the significant change over the route and the way the game was played about, I would say 3 years ago at this point. We started picking up the music box in 5.1. So you're going to actually see me equip a P-Wing here and fly up to a secret pipe to get a music box. And this makes this level much faster, but the key here is getting this music box to skip an additional Hammer Bro. So this eliminates some extra RNG from the run because I can just skip all the Hammer Bros in Worlds 4 and 5.
Let's go.
Well, except for the Sky Bro in World 5, but I need him because he gives me a music box, which will actually be useful in this run, in this situation. So this level's a little different. I just break the block there to get to the pipe easier, which I just missed the up press on. And then, yeah, I want to land up here. And then I'm going to build P speed running down and damage boosting, because if you recall, again, getting P speed with the tail is not good. Because it's on a timer, and also every time you jump in the air with the tail when you have P speed, you get kind of like this air resistance that causes you to go slower. So P speeding my way to the end of the level, and I'm noticing I'm getting a lot of flower cards, and so I obviously didn't have to turn back very much this run. These are not insignificant time saves. I've already saved like a second not having to turn back for levels, so very cool. Just something I noticed I didn't even realize.
I know, I was about to say that last time. It seems like you're getting a lot of the flower cards.
Yes, at very good spots. Yeah, like the first level in the set, getting the flower cards, definitely the best one. So not too technical here, just the beginning, doing the turn back and avoiding the Potaboo at the beginning of the fort, and then kind of just getting P speed and running to the end. Everything kind of lines up well. So this is kind of a technical stage. I'll do a turn back, get the P speed grab later there. And I want to have P speed and make it into all these pipes in this level in order to keep it. So I'm going to have to jump there to keep this one. And here, I want to run forward a little bit before I jump, because if I immediately jump out of this pipe, I will not clear this gap and I will die. So I need to run at least 1 pixel to land here. And so that's exactly what happens. And then we're keeping the P-speed through this pipe. And then to rebuild the P-speed here, I kind of want to jump like right when Mario's foot crosses there. So just into that dark gray portion of the pipe, as you can see. And then bounce off the ceiling and I'll get a nice rebuild. This room, you pretty much always lose P-speed. You kind of want to anyway. Keeping it to the top doesn't really do much for you, and it's kind of scary, to be honest. We're going to do a duck jump here and use the Koopa to bounce off of to create the vine, and we're out of the level. So very nice tower there. Pretty tough and technical level. So you get a little bit of lag landing on this platform because all these spinners. So this is notorious for people missing A presses and just running off and dying. So thankfully that didn't happen. Here you just land on this block, and I'm going to do a full jump to a Koopa to land me in a good spot on that spinner, and then just full jump to the end. And here we are. Again, don't have to turn back for cards. Very cool. Got the star, which is what you want to see. This level, I'm actually doing this a little differently now, but the key is actually for you to just land on this block and not as early as possible. So like right there, you want to land a little later on the block. So like, you know, or like right here or something. And running off this block will give me a consistent P-speed build. And so that's what you're going to see here. And this will allow me to get this early P-speed. If you don't touch this block, the P-speed build is a little inconsistent if you don't do something like a turn back. So get the nice P-speed build there. Have to do the turn back before hitting the next set of wood blocks, because the top one actually has a leaf in it, which I don't want to grab. So very important there. So I do want to fight this Hammer Bro, and he's not going to run away from me, so I won't lose a bunch of time there. This is a change too. I equipped the star because you need to take out this enemy in order to build P-speed. So you're going to see a turn back jump about right here. And then I'm going to be running on this section, and right as I'm running off, you're going to see me do a turn back, just so I have enough space to like land right here. And then I'm going to jump up into this block and re-grab fire. And then I'm going to keep P-speed after I grab the fire. And the key to that is jumping high enough from the ground here in order for that P-meter check. If you recall, I've talked about a few times to occur in the air. Boom. And then full jump, small jump, full jump. And then it doesn't really matter what you do from there.
Oh yeah, that's how you do this level. True. Nice.
And the Hammer Bro moves into me, which is very nice. Gives me a lower pattern, which is even better. So movement of 1, lower pattern. Very good. This level has a really cool and annoying clip. You can actually jump off the end of this block and up into here and clip to the end of the stage and save about 3.5 seconds. But I don't know if you noticed, but there's lava here. So if you have a bad subpixel, you just die, which you pretty much always have a bad subpixel. So we don't usually go for that unless the run's bad. So yeah, this is just kind of jumping to the end. These enemies at the end are a little random based on your turn back. I actually despawned everything, which I wanted, but I missed the pipe because I'm good at jumping in the pipes, I guess. Yeah, take out the boom in there with the 5 fireballs again. So in the next stage, I'm going to do the impossible. I think Nintendo Power called this one of the most difficult stages to complete without taking damage. So we do these hops to these first 3 platforms to get P-speed by the end of this one. And I'm just going to P-speed through the level and kind of avoid all the garbage in the way as a result, because the Lakitu stays behind me. So the key is not landing up there, side jumping off that. And I'm actually going to jump into this pipe to then keep the P speed. So you're going to see what I tried to do in 3.8 and failed on here, I think. Yeah, I didn't clip in. Nice. So boom, right there. Keep it right out of the pipe. Them dry boners. You hate them. And then I think I got a movement of 1 there. And so this actually sets me up for a really nice boss pattern where I can enter immediately and not have to manipulate the fire kill pattern, because this boss has some really bad patterns you can get where he jumps really early. And he's the first boss that does the quake mechanic, which when he lands from jumping, it actually shakes the stage. And if you're touching the ground, you'll actually get stunned as that happens. So if you're not careful, it is very easy to take a death in this stage. But we'll skip to the end, even though this isn't a super long auto-scroller. And yeah, I know exactly what I'm getting here, and pretty good fire kills, so save some time back. You know, I'm excited. Saving some time. Good stuff.
Incredible.
This is another airship where you can get off-screen wand grab as well, but as mentioned before, tricky. So we'll skip forward a little bit past some of this stuff. You guys have seen the falling cutscene a few times. You know what it looks like. We don't need to see it again. You didn't even see the item I got there, but it is a cloud, so the fact that I ended it before the item showed means I saved some frames. Good stuff. Hammer the rock here. Going to take out this bro and use the hammer that I get here for the rock at the end of this world. Skip another level, which is an auto-scroller. And yeah, not pictured are all the auto-scrollers I'm skipping that you wouldn't even know are there. You just watch the run. So we're going to jump from this platform to the spike platform and double damage boost to save time here, because we're going to instant kill the boom boom at the end of this level with a star. So we don't need the fire anymore, because in 6.5, I'm actually going to equip a P-Wing anyway. This jump to the spike platform saves about a second versus just waiting. So it is kind of nice to do. So as you can see there, a little scary, but we make it. Don't touch the platform there, which was nice. So I get to keep the nice P speed there. And yeah, this is the star we grab. And we got to be quick. Don't miss the door. All right, we pressed up. Very good. And boom, boom, instant kill with the star. And that spawns the orb in the center of the screen when that happens.
I never would have guessed.
So a really cool piece of tech there. This is the only fort in the game where that happens, by the way. So it's the only one with the star close enough. Here, this is weird. There's this really strange P speed strat where if you run off this block, you have to jump like the second frame you land on this block and do a full jump. And then you can build P speed on the next platform, which I didn't get here. But it is a nice P speed. Saves about, I don't know, a second and a third or something. But it is tough to do. So most of the time you don't get it.
Very shocking development.
But yeah, the key is just not taking a death in this level, because it's very easy to miss a jump. So
good RNG is good.
Yeah, I didn't mention, but I need to know which bro is which here again. So the cloud moves left after moving in this level or in this world. So I know this is my guy right here. And then this is the star. So the star just moved completely out of my way and I don't want to fight him. So I'm very happy with the current situation. I know my inventory. So every time I open it up, you get the peak, but these items are pretty much always in the same order. So I know the item is one to the right. So you probably see me menu hyper fast. I haven't really talked about that, but a lot of time can be saved in lost menuing. So yeah, this, I'm going to get a despawn, but cool thing here is I kind of land right on this flat section and then immediately tail swipe to kill this next beetle. It's kind of like an easy visual cue. And then I want to land on this hill and run down so I can scroll the screen as right as quickly as possible, because that's important to get the despawn up top, because normally you'd have to bring a shell up there in order to leave the level. But because we are despawning one of the nippers up there, we don't have to do that. So I want to clear this because this will catch me up and slow me down. And I want to run down the hill in order to do this. That's exactly what happens. And as you can see, the one closest to the blocks despawns, and we get a nice 390, getting the tail swipe on the way down. So very good stuff. And yeah, the star just completely moved out of my way, so not going to lose any time there. So yeah, this extra bro isn't the worst to get because it isn't a huge time loss because now I'm going to get all these movements I wouldn't get at the end of each level, but you still prefer to skip it because it's going to save 6 or 7 seconds. So here you want to damage boost and keep with the P meter going to keep P speed through that section. So that's what happened there. And then for the most part, it's just like knowing where to fly. This stage is it's weird. There is some technicality to it, but it's kind of weird technicality. It's not super technical if you understand exactly how a flight works, but it can be kind of technical, I guess, too. Here I want to grab this block and then also jump at the same time. So I have to press B and A at the same time to do this, and that's really the key for this block jump. So boom. And then I want to use this to throw to take out enough enemies to build P speed, which I will use to then go to the end of the level. So normally, when you see people do the wall jump in 6-9, they'll do it as Small Mario, because it makes your retries a lot easier. Also, sometimes you get 2 frames to wall jump, but we're going to do it as Big Mario because we are very cool, and not many people do this. So I'm going to have a kind of significant discussion here about how this works. So if you remember, we have subpixels 0 through 15, okay? If you remember back to 1-2. So I need subpixels 14 through 15 at the start of this level, or 0 through 7 in order for this trick to work. So we have 10 if you do the math. And there are 16 total, so we have a 62.5% chance. If you're Small Mario, you need 0 through 5. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, so you only get 6, right? So this gives us a pretty significant additional chance of being able to do this first try. The one problem with this is the retries are terrible. If I don't get this first try, I'm probably not going to get it. So we get one shot at this. And in order to prime this up, we're actually going to rub the end of this block here. You can think of it as like 2 blocks separated like this. So we really want to hit the upper half and land up here and then jump over and not rub anything else. But I actually make a mistake here, and somehow this actually works. So I double rub there, and I immediately think to myself, my run is dead. But we jump to the wall, and we get the subpixel.
Dude, calculated.
And we jump over, and everything's fine.
The double bump. The double bump.
And you can see I'm laughing about it because I totally messed it up, and it worked anyway. So, you know, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Remember that.
I will say there's...
All right.
You mentioned earlier that the RNG was really bad. How would you say it is now at this point of the run? I feel like we've seen...
Yes.
I was going to say, we've seen a lot of, I think, really good RNG as the run has gone on.
Yes. So the first half, not happy, but everything really from World 4 and on has been good. I'm very happy about. So, yeah, there's actually a clip you can do in this level too that saves 7 seconds, but you basically never get it. So, we won't really talk about it because it's not real. Okay, I've gotten it one time ever, and I never really see people get it unless they're a booba and there's $500 online, but that's a different story. So yeah, the cool thing here is normally you'd have to use this block to re-grab your power-up if you're doing the wall jump, but I don't got to do that. So I don't have to waste the time taking damage or grabbing the block. So Normally, it would save about 70 frames over taking damage and doing the wall jump as small Mario, being big Mario, but I saved probably like 45-ish because I double bumped, so still a pretty good time save. Crew gets it, that's true. So here's another cool thing in this part. So we're doing more subpixels, guys. So if you ever think Mario 3, by the end of this, I want you to think subpixels, because yes, that is what you need to think. So I'm going to stomp this guy 3 times, and then I'm going to jump to the center of the arena. So I need subpixels 14 or 15 here for the next stage in order to clip the wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move right 1 subpixel. So what that means, you only move right when Mario at least goes from, you know, the end of the subpixel range, so like 15 to 0, will cause a 1 pixel right movement. Or like if you, to move 1 subpixel, or to move 1 pixel left, you have to go from 0 to 15, right? So I need 14 or 15, so I'm going to move right 1 pixel and then quickly move back left 1 pixel with small taps on the D-pad in order to get subpixels 14 or 15. You can see I moved right there and then quickly moved left. And I honestly thought I messed this up because the left was really quick. I thought I had a pretty heavy left press there. But, you know, we'll see how true that is. So the key here is this allows me to do a standing clip in this next level to skip the entire level. I have to get this or the run is pretty much, it's over. I could get lucky if I miss it on the first try and get it on retries, but you don't really want to leave things up to luck in Mario 3, at least to the extent possible. So yeah, we're just going to run on this platform, and my visual cue is right when the tip of Mario's foot crosses to that. I don't know if you see this like light line on the pipe. I'm going to jump into the wall, and we're going to see if I make it in the wall, and I do. So I had 14 or 15. So yeah, it's very cool that that happened, because if that didn't happen, I probably wouldn't have PB'd. So next stage here. So one thing, first of all, you'll notice World 7 is the first world where there aren't any Hammer Bros. So technically, there's no RNG in this world based on the route I'm doing. So just kind of keep that in mind. There are ways to implement RNG if you're doing extra clips, but with the clips I'm doing, I will be doing manipulations. So there shouldn't be any RNG involved. But yeah, this is a really technical stage. So I'm going to grab this block. I'm going to pop this flower up, grab the flower, and we're going to do some P meter manipulation by damage boosting on this plant, which is going to allow us to build enough P meter when I jump to the next platform to get P speed. And then I'm going to get P speed, and using iframes, I'm going to jump just in time to not take damage on this guy. Just enough iframes there. So normally you'd have to either have a fire flower equip the star and kind of go back and forth at the beginning to get P speed, but this is a quicker build. And if I don't get it, and it's very technical, the run's over. And for some reason I get double mushroomed, which is very random and rare. But that just has to do with the distance between, where you get to the end of the level and the cards. So it doesn't matter, because I'll get a star or a flower here guaranteed. Here, this is kind of just like run forward, jump off the enemies, kind of know your jumps. There's really nothing technical. Get to do a cool little Lakitu jump at the end here, and these are just really full jumps. And you hit the card, and I'll get a star, because good thing you don't have to worry about triple mushroom, assuming you don't. You either get a star or a flower, as long as you have P speed. I'm going to use my cloud here to skip an auto scroller in 7-4. It's a very bad level, so I'm very happy to be able to do that. I'm going to equip a P-Wing for this level, because you need flight in order to actually beat this level. And I'm going to do another subpixel manipulation here. on the boss. But I will also need to damage boost and lose this tail in order to clip the wall in the next stage. Missed the pipe a little bit there. Didn't mean to do that, but get our 3 stomps in, take the damage. And so I don't know why Mario's missing on this frame, but anyway, I need subpixels 3 through 10. This is really difficult to tell. Here, you just have to do this enough to know based on feel that you're in the correct range. So the cool thing is, if you remember there's 16 subpixels, this means half the range works for the next clip. So it's very lenient, but you have to be in a mid subpixel in order for it to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move right, and then I'm going to do a couple more small taps in order to make sure I have 3 through 10. And you won't necessarily be able to visually see it there, but I did do some small taps, and I feel pretty confident about this. So this clip is bad because, unlike the other one, these pipes are uniform in how they look, so I don't really have a visual cue here. I mean, I kind of do. I kind of use Mario's nose and where it is with the door and to like jump into this pixel, but yeah, outside of that, it's just kind of a weird cue. So it can be a little tricky that way, but got the clip first try, had a good manipulation, and it's a big deal. Didn't have to do any retries. Good time save for me. Next stage here, I need to equip the star to take out some of these plants, and I'm actually going to do a faster version of 7-8 that people recently started doing within the last year. So it's pretty technical. I got to do some small hops here. Normally you would grab, you'd grab this star and then run to the pipe to get the hammer suit, but I'm going to skip it because I'm just used to doing that at this point. And I have to do this weird, like, I'm going to duck jump about right here, go up and do a turn back. But this time I actually mess it up a little bit, and this ball right here is going to clip me. And so I do the backup as small Mario to get right into the pipe. And thankfully that guy didn't move left and give me bad RNG. And this part's sad. So this is actually a really good frame for me to stop on, because this frame is why I don't keep P-speed. And if I would have pressed left one frame later than this, I would have kept it. So you need to land here, moving forward, and then turn back in order to keep P-speed up. So I'm going to lose it here, and I'm not going to be very happy because I know this run's good.
I got fucking robbed.
And the key here is just not taking damage now. Thankfully, the hammer suit went forward as well. We just do some duck jumps there, just in case they shoot some fireballs. And but the key is I kept the hammer suit, so I'm happy. So I'm gonna cloud this next level because it's really bad. This level, to play it quickly, you have to clip, and clipping would be RNG, and I'm already ahead, so I don't need to clip, so I'm not gonna do it. This level's really cool. There's a lot of technicality here, so. Basically the gist of a lot of these hammer throws is I'm going to run to the end of the platform and then jump and throw at the same time for a bit here. So here, most important is that one and keeping that forward speed. So this hammer actually carries far enough to take this plant out as well. That's a really annoying hammer throw. And then these ones, you just have to know. You just have to play this level enough to know exactly when to press B. I don't know how to describe it. It's a rhythm thing. And they're just going to fly up in the air, take out the plants. We're going to get P speed. Again, throw some hammers at the end of platforms. And then I'm going to throw 2 hammers about right here to take out a dry bones so I can skip it really easily. Lost P speed here, which was weird. And then missed the easy snipe there, missed another one. You know, I wasn't the best fortress, but I made it out without taking damage. So, you know, it's all right. We'll take it.
I think it's so funny that you keep saying that there's so many things you have to feel, and you look at some of, like, I'd say the best runners of this game and how long y'all have been running this game, and I think that really goes to show That it's, yeah, you just have to do it so many times.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, it's kind of crazy. Just, yeah, how many things are kind of done by feel. You almost kind of become one with the controller in Mario and just understand, like, you can tell when you make a mistake as soon as you press the button, and sometimes can adjust for it because you just know based on rhythm and feel. It's very weird.
Which that's
I'm gonna skip
incredible in
this as well.
itself, too.
Yeah. It's weird. It happens all the time. I'll press A and be like, oh, that's too big. So I'll just do a turn back and it works out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this is the longest auto scroller in the game. It's not really worth viewing. This guy you stomp because you can't actually kill the Koopa kids with the hammer suit. So we just grabbed the hammer suit for Bowser here. Because it saves about 7 seconds on the Bowser fight at the end of the run. But the real key here is grabbing the hammer suit allowed me to skip 7-9. And it's another way to play World 7 quickly because 7-9 is the only place I'll be able to grab fire otherwise at the end of the world before the airship. And I really want to be able to fire kill the Boom Boom if I'm going to go that route. Otherwise, I'm losing a pretty significant amount of time. This is, again, another pretty long auto-scroller. I'll show some D-lag at the end here because there is some kind of cool D-lag that you got to do that happens that Mitch found out like years ago when he was grinding No Wrong Warp. So I got to throw that bomb off screen because this thing's going to keep shooting him out. And then this one as well. So I'm using the bombs to take out the other bombs to decrease the amount of lag here. As you can see, I didn't really get much lag. So that's an important thing. And then I make a really like cool mistake at the end of this level, which is kind of embarrassing, but I missed the chest grab because I go a little early. So this guy goes backwards, gives me good RNG. I should be lined up on this wall. And then when this boomerang gets to like right here, then I run forward and can grab the chest in the air. But you can see I'm not lined up at the wall. I do the visual cue, and then it gives me the okie doke. And so I lost a little bit of time there. But hey, it ended up working out. You know, if I grabbed that chest well, I probably wouldn't have PB'd again because of the hands. So again, this is another fairly long level. The key of these is just not getting bored and taking damage. There's kind of a really toxic jump at the end here. I don't know why they did this, but people can attest this stupid bomb. The best run I ever had to this point was about 4 seconds faster than this, and I took damage of this bomb because I just jumped early. So like he'll explode about the time you need to enter the pipe. So yeah, you just want to make sure you go at the right time, and made it in the pipe there without taking damage this time. You can swim under the boat, that is true. But you don't want to do that all the way to the end because you want to get in the pipe as quickly as possible. But yeah, I definitely did that as a kid as well because coordination was not very good. So this screen, the most toxic screen. So these levels can pull you in and it's totally random. It's 50-50 whether or not they do. It's frame dependent. You don't really know what frame you're on, and it's frame from power on. So if I get pulled in by any of these levels, I can technically still PB here, but I can't get a sub 51. So I have to win a 50-50, then a 50-50, then a 50-50. And those of you that can do math, that's a 1 in 8 or 12.5% chance of winning 3 in a row. So we'll see what happens here. And I win them. So there you go. I didn't bonk. No, I didn't bonk. No bonk strats. So yeah, at this point, you can see I'm like, come on, man, because I don't know the next time that's going to happen. This is the first time I've ever been to this point on sub 51 pace. So everything from this point in the game is entirely on my control. So I know that I just need to play. Just play the game like you always do. And everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to work out. So This is such an intense level to play after that happens too. So like your adrenaline's pumping now, and then this level moves twice as fast as a normal auto scroller, and you've got some tight platforming there. So yeah, very intense level. I thought I was gonna overkill the boom boom there, but I didn't, thankfully. That's a weird mechanic that happens if basically the 5th and 6th tick of damage happen on the same frame for the boom boom, and so its health like flushes over and goes up to like, I don't know, you have to hit it like 35 times to kill it, so that was kind of big. I should actually talk a little bit about 8-1. I do some cool stuff here at the beginning. We used to always equip a star in this level, but I think it was like, I don't know, last year or maybe 2 years ago I stopped doing this. And you just throw the hammer here to take out this first plant. So that's the first important one. And then I land up here and throw 2 to take out the next one. So equipping the star doesn't save you any time here if you're just able to do the hammer throws. And I'm pretty comfortable with this. This is the hardest one, and it's not really that hard with hammer suit because you get a lot of time to make it. So you kind of use this line as the point where you want to throw the hammer. With fire, you have to, the line that I'm at right now, you have to like try to single frame press your fireball shot to get a consistent P speed build afterwards. But because I throw the hammer so much earlier, the P speed build's really easy. So it's kind of a, compared to fire, it's kind of a free strat. So yeah, this is a notorious level of people messing up on really good pace. So I'm trying not to mess up here. And I'm really scared for this card because, as you can see, I've got 2 stars here. And that was not what I wanted at the end of World 7. But we do just barely get the mushroom there. I don't know if you saw, it just barely changed. So it wouldn't have mattered at the end of the day, but still nice for that to happen. This level gets a little scary. I can't remember. I don't think I sniped the sun. Oh, I do. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes that hammer throw misses for whatever reason when you're under pressure, but you want to take him out because he can do some random stuff to make you take damage. So I'm going to throw a hammer after I bounce on this block. And then it's going to snipe this guy. And then I'm going to try to throw 2 up the hill to keep P speed. I do lose it because I just don't run enough on the first pipe, but I get it back right away. It's not much of a time loss, just a slight little time loss. So, next level, I just equip the star for safety. I don't really know, or I don't really need to do that. It would be a little faster if I didn't technically, but you know, it doesn't really lose time either. So just for safety. Don't want to lose the hammer suit because losing hammer and having to pick up fire is a big deal. So that P switch there, we want to be able to beat this timer to the door at the end of this room. And so I'm going to do these turnbacks and jumps and then build P speed again and just make it to the door in time to enter it. Because as you can hear on the other side of this, it stops almost immediately. And then duck slide under this to get forward and then snipe the boom boom. A really good level, actually, there. And then the final screen, we got one more auto scroller, which is fairly easy. You just kind of like hug right and take out the enemies as they come. Of course, I say it's easy, and if Kuja was here, he might disagree with me. But yeah, he lost a world record pace run taking damage on here years ago. So, very sad. But he did eventually get it, so it has a good ending to that story.
The pressure's got to be so on, though, here with not losing your hammer suit and knowing you're on good pace.
Yeah, I just barely cleared the statue, too. I landed, like, probably the first pixel I could have landed without clipping into it. But yeah, the pressure is definitely on here. It's weird because this level isn't that difficult, but it's definitely more difficult on pace. And this clip can be trolly sometimes. Like you'll see people mess up. I put mess up in quotes when I say that because like you're not really messing up. Sometimes it's just, I don't know. It's very odd. It won't let you in, it feels like, but thankfully it does let me in on the first attempt. And now I want to do some good donut jumps there to build P-speed. So here, Mario's missing on this frame again, but I'm going to do like a neutral jump in the air. So I'm not holding forward. And then I'll land and be holding forward to just give me enough space to build P-speed before I get to this first statue. So I get it there, doing the duck jump, not the rub there. So you actually, if I don't duck jump there, my run's over. So this is the most important duck jump, because you'll hit the ceiling and it'll push you down into the lava and your run's over. So you have to get that duck jump and do the turn back there to avoid the fire. And at this point, I know it's over because you'll see Bowser's about to appear and just basically get instantly taken out. So, and a pump because I know the sub 51 grind is now concluded.
After the abuse it just took. That was a master's class in beating.
That was so awesome to hear all that explanation, because again, I love SMB3 speedrunning, and there's just so many little pieces of tech that I never understood why they were done, and getting to see them broken down the way you did was super, super informative. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, there's a lot more there, but it's mostly like, you got to jump here at this part, and you got to do this jump. You know, those aren't super technical. It's just playing it over and over.
It's just learning the route. And the run.
Yeah.
So do you have, what are you currently doing on your stream? Are you still grinding this at all? Are you trying to get a better time? Are you grinding other runs right now?
Yeah, I'm trying to get a better time currently in this category. I'm trying to shoot for the world record. I haven't had too many good runs since this one, unfortunately, because this was kind of at the end of this run, the controller I was using basically was shot. So I'm kind of adjusting to new controller as well. So that takes a little bit of time, but I think I'll be pretty good shortly here. But yeah, just kind of grinding, trying to get the time down. I'm in a warpless tournament, so that's part of the reason why that's still happening, just to stay fresh with it. But yeah, once that's over, we'll see. As long as I'm continuing to enjoy myself, I'll probably continue to play this category. So,
awesome.
Yeah, just been enjoying it since I came back. So,
yeah, that's good to hear. Chat, and I've been posting the link to your Twitch channel. So chat, make sure you please go give Haxor a follow if you've enjoyed this. This was super, super informative. Definitely going to be more runs of this on his channel, so be sure to give him a follow. We will be taking a quick little wellness break, everyone, but we will be back with more Victory Lap. After this, we will have Kirby Masta on to analyze his recent world records of Sonic Advance 1 and 2. Be right back. Hey, all you cool cats and gamers. Welcome back to Victory Lap, the GDQ hotfix show that highlights recent world record and PB runs and the runners who made it happen. I'm your host, Nuclear Reaction, and tonight I've got with me Kirby Masta to showcase two of his new world record runs, one on Sonic Advance, one on Sonic Advance 2. Before we get started, I do have a few announcements. Games Done Quick Highlights is a channel that features highlights of our GDQ hotfix shows. Use the command highlights to learn more about our highlights. Also, make sure to check in tomorrow. We'll have at 7 p.m. Eastern, Challenger Approaching, followed by Legally Cute.
Yeah.
All right, Kirby, I know you've had a lot. You've been like kind of cranking out some world records actually with these Sonic Advance games. Anything in particular kind of spark that?
Well, so a bit of a story. So I learned, so Sonic Advance 1 is a childhood game of mine. So I have a lot of nostalgia towards it. Not so much for 2 and 3. And I found a website called the Sonic Center, which has like all these leaderboards from years and years ago of all these individual levels, ILs. I'll be saying ILs a lot. They stand for speedruns of the individual levels. And TSC was like, the Sonic Center was very competitive back in the day. it kind of died out in terms of, relatively speaking, in terms of activity when I started learning the game. But unfortunately, there were like not many video resources for most of the games, well, at least for the 3 advanced games. So I kind of had to come up with stuff on my own. So I just did ILs trying to come up with my own stuff and got nowhere close to the record times. And this was all like 7 or 8 years ago.
Okay.
And then I never got around to updating them until like this past year. And I'm like, okay, well, now that I actually know the fastest routes, and now that I'm like actually better in the game than I was almost a decade ago, you know what? Let's just do a sweep and just like update every single one of my times. And a lot of them have been like world record ILs. I've just improved a lot in the game as a whole, and I've been getting back into running the game full game as well. And then as GDQ 2022 submissions came up, and I'm like, oh, well, since I've improved a lot in these games, I should also improve all my full game runs. So I've just cranked out like updated runs for like almost every full game category for all 3 games, in like the 2 weeks before GDQ submissions closed. But
That's quite a journey.
yeah,
Dating back 7 or 8 years.
yeah,
Here we are today.
yes. Have you played these games? These games are pretty fun.
I'm trying to think of which ones I have played. I know I did play. I don't remember if I played all of them. I know I played the one with Cream the Rabbit.
Oh, so
in it.
you've played 2. Okay. So the
Yes.
second run will probably blow your mind then. Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, this one will also blow your mind in a different way, but yeah.
Well, this is in Knuckles.
Yeah,
so-
this is with Knuckles. So I picked Knuckles because, well, it's and Knuckles, and I also, I mean, I don't intend for this to be like a advertisement for GDQ, but if this game does get into SGDQ, fingers crossed, I offered it as a 4-way character bid war, and if it does get in as a bid war, donate for Knuckles. Because Knuckles has never been ran before, and Knuckles is pretty cool.
Is that so that one's never been ran before? Is that your favorite run as well, or just because
My
it hasn't
answer
been run
changes
before?
every day.
Okay.
Right, if you
That's
ask me
fair.
that question, it's going to be either Tails or Knuckles or Amy.
Anyone but Sonic.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Sonic's fun, but like he's just a lot better built for Advance 2 than Advance 1, I'll say. And you'll see that later, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, this is a recent record I got for Knuckles. And the previous record was by me, which was like a minute and a half slower, back when we used in-game time, which was forever ago. It was like 5 or 6 years old, and then I finally updated it. And the reason why it took so long to update it was partially because like Knuckles Run is pretty difficult because it has like a lot of really difficult tricks and a good chunk of luck to it too. And I just never got around to it for a while. But yeah, and we also recently changed our timing. Well, not recently. By recently, I mean like 3 or 4 years ago. But we changed our timing method to real time minus time bonus, which is exactly what it sounds like. You subtract the time bonus directly from the real time. Bleh. Because like, as with a lot of 2D Sonic games, the faster you clear a level, the more time bonus you get. And hooray, you like get rewarded and save real time by going slower. But who wants to run like that? Because it's silly.
Yeah, that's backwards.
So like in-game time was what we went by, but there's a lot of other issues with in-game time as well for this game. So we kind of swapped over to real time minus time bonus. But
That makes sense.
yeah, enough of that though.
Let's get into the run whenever you're ready.
Yeah, let's dive in. So this game plays a lot like the Genesis games. I'll go ahead and give a quick countdown if you have a timer ready. Not that it matters because I'll probably pause a lot, but that's okay. So 3, 2, 1, go. Well, technically not the time, but that's okay. This is Advance 1, and it has a lot of your basic stop and go mechanics where you kind of just try to spin dash a lot. Knuckles has the unique ability to glide, which is really useful. And right here, we went so fast that there's like a half pipe off screen that's kind of shaped like this. This is all off screen, so you can't see it. But there's an off screen half pipe like this where you have to kind of jump off of like this part right here, and it's like a frame perfect jump. And you're going so fast as off screen, and you have to do such a tight jump to get so much height out of this jump. And the result of that is this. And you just glide over the rest of the stage. And this saves quite a bit of time, like more like 5 or 6 seconds. But yeah, and then unfortunately, I was a little low and clipped into a wall on accident, Sonic style. But that's okay. So yeah, Knuckles' gliding is really useful because it has a property of it starts slow, but you just move faster and faster and faster as you glide. So if you can keep gliding for more than a few seconds, you start going ridiculously fast, and you'll see that in 2 or 3 more stages. So yeah, and the other part of his tech is his punch right there. So the thing about spin dashing in this game is that in order to spin dash, you have to crouch. And in order to crouch, you have to be at a complete stop. And the Advanced series is very picky about that because you have to be like at speed 0 in order to crouch, which is really annoying because sometimes you'll be like moving really slowly, but the game doesn't let you crouch. Knuckles has tools to really compensate for that because when he does his punch, his first part of his 3-punch combo, he's always at a complete stop. So it's like a really nice way to just punch and spin dash immediately because you're always guaranteed to be able to spin dash right after. And right there, you can kind of see him just land from a glide because when you land from a glide, you're always at a complete stop as well. So you can kind of see me doing a little bit of more punching tech to make sure that I'm at a complete stop so I can do all these rapid spin dashes. Okay, right here, let me use red. Right here is an invisible spring. Actually, right here is a slope, and right here is like a spring, like right here, that's invisible. Ideally, you want to jump off of this slope that's like shaped like this. It's a downhill slope, and it's invisible, so you can't really see it, so you just have to go by the audio. And ideally, you get a frame-perfect jump to get a lot of speed from that jump. If you're even a frame late, you'll hit the spring, and you lose a lot of time. If you jump early, that's not too bad. You'll just lose like 2 seconds at least, typically. I did not get the frame-perfect jump, so I'm not going to be going that fast. Like, I'd be at the boss already at this point if I got the frame-perfect jump. But in a full game run, you'd rather just go a little bit early because you'd rather just lose like 2 seconds than risk hitting the spring. Oh yeah, by the way, there was a boss. There was apparently a boss that happened. So we also actually had a recent rule swap to swap to easy mode because it's faster and reduces luck. Bosses typically take 8 hits to kill, but that's reduced to 6 hits in easy mode. There are a few cases where easy mode loses you time, actually, which is interesting because easy mode also removes certain enemies from certain stages, and that actually loses you time. But yeah, and now we're in the second zone, Secret Base. Kind of taking things a little bit slowly here and safely. Okay, so Nukes, you haven't seen a run, right?
No.
No, so this is your first time seeing this, right?
Yes.
Okay, just watch carefully. Whoop. And remember what I said about his gliding, where he just goes faster and faster and faster and faster, as long as you don't stop. And now you'll actually see how fast his glide is. You just keep him, you'll just see him keep picking up speed. And there we go, we're at the end of the stage. We're at the end of the stage. Okay, let me backtrack a little bit just so we can explain what the heck actually happened.
Sonic games.
Yeah, so this is actually a trick that I found. So shout outs to me. Totally not bloating my ego, but so basically this game has a concept called pass swappers, which is how loops work. So like every loop has a set of pass swappers where like you have to cross a pass swapper, it makes part of the loop solid, and you hit the next pass swapper and it makes the other side of the loop solid. So like you need to hit a pass swapper that makes this loop solid, and then you hit a pass swapper like here, which then makes like the second half of the loop solid. So you can kind of smoothly go through the green path. So there is a pass swapper to the left of Knuckles, like right here, basically. And so right now, the game thinks I'm to the right of this pass swapper. So it made the right side of the loop solid and the left side of the loop not solid. But by scrolling the screen down and doing a really fast spin dash, I can cross this pass swapper without actually hitting it. So the game thinks I'm on the wrong side of the loop. And then shenanigans happen. And that's pretty much the basics of like most of the tricks in this game, basically. And this glide here is a lot harder than it looks because like you need to make sure you don't hit like this rope here. Otherwise you grab it and you're dead. And you also need to make sure that you start gliding as early as possible and very high, because you need to just get as much speed as possible through this glide. But if you're too low, you'll hit one of these two platforms that I'm about to pass by, and that's bad because that resets your gliding speed. And that means you have to build up speed from your glide again, which is really bad because one, that's slower, and two, you'll die because, wait for it. Hold on. Let me get a different color. This right here is not solid. So I like barely grabbed this piece of solid collision here. So if you're like a tiny bit too low, you're not gonna grab this collision and you'll just glide and die, basically. So the gliding is actually really tight for this stage. So it's not quite as simple as it looks, even though it's pretty funny and it just looks like I'm gliding to win. But yeah, that's that stage. This saves around like 4 or 5 seconds. So it's actually, yeah.
I feel like Sonic games are a lot of times just like a bunch of spaghetti and somehow you can fit it to make it work in a speed run.
Yeah, so this next stage actually has that kind of trick too, but I don't do it in a full game run because it's really difficult and unreliable. And it saves like roughly 10 seconds, but like I opted not to do it here because I just wanted to finish runs for GDQ submissions. So yeah, we're getting our first speed shoes here, and speed shoes are really important because like you go fast, and your air acceleration in particular is way faster. So you'll just start seeing Knuckles start going really fast. This trampoline here is a little bit annoying, but you'll start seeing him go really fast here. Somewhat fast. Could have gone faster. Kind of a bit of a tight jump there, and then you want to make sure you glide over this pulley here. This is also a little bit tight because if you grab it, it'll very slowly drag you to where Knuckles is right now for like 4 seconds. It costs you quite a bit of time to grab it. But yeah, so honestly, this run's not like, this run is a little bit sloppy, but like I also wanted to try prioritizing finishing runs, especially with how many difficult tricks there are in this game. Because that trick I just did it's not too difficult, but there's harder stuff in this run, and also luck. And yeah, a boss just happened, but apparently. So the next stage is Casino Paradise. And Casino Paradise 1 is kind of the bane of my existence. It's a casino, and casino stages in Sonic games means cycles and cycles and cycles and moving objects everywhere. So like you can already see like all these balloons, all those bumpers all over the place. They're just really obnoxious.
Are these global cycles?
These cycles start at the start of the stage. So they're always going to be the same as long as you start the stage at the same time. Like, I made a few minor mistakes up to this point, and I actually could have made the cycle here, but this bumper's blocking me, so I lost like 2 seconds there. And then conveniently enough, I can just keep gliding here, and you can kind of see the gliding properties kicking in where he just keeps going faster. And if I made the earlier bumper cycle I just mentioned, then these 2 blocks that move, I would be able to make the cycle two cycles earlier. So you lose quite a bit of time for missing the first bumper, actually. But it is what it is, though. Like, this stage is really annoying. Okay, I am supposed to land on this slope here. With a lot of speed. I did not get much speed. That's effectively random. Good subpixels. But I improvised a bit, and things worked out. And that's the end of the stage. So this was a 40-second time, and that looked relatively smooth. The IL, my individual level time is 28 seconds. So 12 seconds faster.
Oh, wow.
And the reason for that is because there's a really stupid glitch you can do to clip into a flipper that is sometimes frame perfect.
Oh.
And when it is not frame perfect, it is impossible. But yeah, so you can kind of see even more and more cycles. One thing to note that's kind of annoying. So you want to start the stage immediately because I need to slow down just a bit because like this bumper, this one right here, is moving to the left at the moment. So if I moved quickly, I would probably like end up here and hit the bumper and go down here and lose all my speed. So you need to like slow down just enough so you kind of go underneath this bumper while it's moving left. And then you also need to like start the stage immediately because this set of bumpers is moving up right now. So you want to try to make it over these bumpers before they're at the top of their cycle. Otherwise, it makes the jump a lot harder. And then I want to jump like here in order to jump in between those two balloons I just passed through. So this jump is actually pretty tight too, so I need to jump between these two balloons. I'm kind of just falling through like that. And then I need to slow down just enough to avoid this bumper here too. This one's stationary, but if I did a full spin dash, I would just like hit the bumper and go down this way. So you kind of need to slow down a bit so that you can kind of like descend a little bit before you keep moving right. So there's a lot of parts in this stage where like you want to slow down just to make sure you avoid these bumpers specifically. And then this part is kind of a crapshoot. I just kind of hope the cycles cooperate. So this was actually pretty sloppy because you can make it all the way to these speeches with only one glide, but it took me 3 glides. But that's okay. Not the end of the world. And then we get to the boss, the first luck-based boss of the game. So yeah, this boss has a lot of different patterns. So there are 4 sets of tubes, and you can't see it all on the screen, so I'll kind of illustrate that. So there's like a tube. You can kind of see this tube here. Kind of see this tube here. There's a tube at the top like that, off screen. Another one off screen up there. And there's like another one here, another set here. And basically, every time he moves, Eggman will move out of like one of these pipes, along with a spike ball. And it's random which one he comes out of. So what I'm really hoping for as Knuckles is that he goes across like this, or he goes across like this, without the spike ball in the way, because Knuckles' glide can get 4 hits in if he goes across. And it takes 6 hits to take him out. So I did not get a bottom horizontal pattern, but I still got 4 hits in there because I got a higher horizontal pattern, so I executed that well. And I'm also pause buffering to make sure that I can react to these appropriately. And then I pause buffered. There was a bit of a mistake there. What I could have done, hold on. So what he did is he kind of came down this way, which is not a good pattern for Knuckles, unfortunately. He only needs 2 hits to go down, so I got 1 hit. What I was trying to do is land on this floor here, and then I can just punch him through this tube here, because Knuckles has a hitbox that can hit Eggman even when he's not visible. But unfortunately, I got hit, so I couldn't do that. But he kind of conveniently came out where I was, so I didn't lose too much time. But yeah, so that's Casino Paradise. That's 3 zones down. We have 3 to go and in the final stage, so that's half the game. Have to run. And now we have Ice Mountain, which is one. I like it a lot, but the boss is not great. We'll get to that when we get there, and we get to watch Knuckles go fast here. So again, as a reminder, Knuckles' glide is really useful just because like it allows him to always be at a complete stop. So you can spin dash immediately like that. We're getting some speed shoes. So I have to be really tight with my movement here because I have probably like 0.2, 0.3 seconds of leeway of mistakes I can make with the speed shoes because there is a big skip I want to make that requires keeping the speed shoes. So it's coming up here. So I'm jumping off of like this wall here, this part of the wall here. And then I'm not pressing a direction that I hold right at the peak. I fall through these pillars here, and then I bounce off of a snowman right here. And then I glide. And that skips the rest of the stage, basically. You're supposed to like take a zip line from the top to get down here. So to show what that looks like in practice without pausing the video a lot, big jump, and boom. And you need to keep the speed shoes up to that point, otherwise you're not going to be able to hit the snowman. So you have to be really tight with your movement to make it. It's a lot harder to make it with Sonic. Amy has a really easy time making it, actually, which is funny because she can't spin dash. And Tails doesn't care, he flies. So yeah, like a really good time for this stage with like most characters is a sub 50. I made a lot of mistakes early on in the stage, so 51.97 is kind of eh, but it is what it is. Ooh, my video's lagging a bit. Let me see if I can pause that. There we go. Okay. So there's a bit of a tight jump I have to make here. So after that zip line, there's this really troll spring that you can see Knuckles jump over. It's not difficult. It just looks tight because you're also moving really fast. But you have like 5 or 6 frame window to jump over that. And I usually hold left to slow down just to make that frame window more lenient too, for consistency's sake. And then I hit the boost pad, and now if I want it to be really optimal, there is a frame perfect jump you can make like here. If you jump like just before you hit the spring, you can maintain all of your speed as you jump through this gap here. And that saves quite a bit of time. I opt not to go for it because it's very risky. If you jump too early, you'll kind of jump like this. But if you jump too late, you'll just hit the side of the spring and lose all your speed. Because like when you jump off of an uphill incline, you kind of jump like this. But if you jump off of flat ground, you jump like this, which it gives you more horizontal speed but less height. But what I opt to do is kind of just play it safe. The boss is coming up. So there's actually another... This boss is really annoying because this boss is on the ceiling, and in order to hit him, you have to ride on these icicles that he drops down. And they're random. They're random. So yeah, that's fantastic. So right here, I'm just hoping he drops icicles. I actually got really bad luck here because there's a chance he can drop icicles immediately. But the good news about Knuckles is that he can float on the surface of the water. So as long as I don't jump early to the point where I knock myself down, I can always just stay on the surface and not worry about the icicles and just cheese to fight that way. So that's very convenient.
I feel like we've flown through the boss fights in particular.
Yeah. Easy mode helps a lot and also reduces a lot of luck. The bosses are usually pretty quick,
Okay.
so yeah.
I didn't even realize there was an easy mode. I must have missed that in the beginning.
It's okay. There's a lot. Oh, so this stage, remember what I said about path swappers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is a path swapper right here. And I'm scrolling the screen down, keeping the screen scroll down, and I just passed the path swapper without triggering it. And now, shenanigans. Whee! So this is both, like, it's not too difficult actually. I have a nice visual cue for this glide here because you want to glide like right when you pass, like this, right when you pass like this floor right here, basically. So that's my cue for when to start gliding, or rather a visual cue. I actually use the audio. I count like 4 beats to the music, I think, and then start gliding. But like gliding when you pass this is also an option for people who might be more visual. So yeah, you can kind of tell I just started gliding as I passed that. If you glide even a tiny bit too late, you're gonna lose a lot of height. But if you glide too early, then you're gonna be really high and you might hit some obstacles that you don't wanna hit, like those springs that I just kind of went underneath. And then I take a death. Because you can't just glide to the end of the stage, unfortunately. You can hit the goalpost, but you'll just fall to your death if you do that while gliding like that. So I kind of need to like reset the game to its default paths. Either that or take a death so the game does it for me. And in this case, I did the latter because there's a convenient checkpoint right at the end.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's real convenient that that's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. All right, so here's another skip. I'm skipping like a third of the stage by just gliding underneath it. I'm gliding lower than usual, so I'm playing this really safe because I can't actually see where I want to land. So I lost quite a bit of time there. But that's okay. And then I'm going to be doing a technique here called a super glide. So like right here, when you start gliding and you're about to hit something, all of your downward momentum translates into upward momentum. I don't think I've done that a single time yet in this run, but this is one case where I'm about to do that. So like the more downward speed you have, the more upward speed you get out of this, which is a way for Knuckles to get a lot of height. You don't want to get too much height though, or else you're going to lose time. And in this case, I got too much height because you can kind of see me being like, oh, well, I need to like waste a second just wiggling around to make sure I can go underneath the ceiling. If I started my super glide like 1 or 2 frames earlier, I wouldn't have lost that much time. But it's not too big of a deal. Bit more Knuckles movement. Oh yeah, so one minor thing that's kind of annoying in the stage. Let me backtrack a little bit. So there's like a hidden spring right there. If you just keep holding right, you're going to be going too fast, and you'll actually clip the corner right here. This corner right here, and you'll lose all your speed. So you kind of need to like let go of the direction and not press right for a bit, just to make sure you aren't going too fast. kind of annoying, but it is what it is.
That's my memory of these Sonic Advance games, is just like annoying springs everywhere.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Oh no. Oh no. All right, yeah, there's luck to this fight, spoiler alert. So that's a bad pattern. That's a good pattern. You want them to spin dash because you can hit them immediately. And that's it. 3 hits each. There's a bit more to that fight than it looks, so basically there's luck to it and you just go for the best. But you lose like about 1 second per bad pattern roughly. But it's not the end of the world. Okay. So Nukes. Remember those skips I did?
Yes.
Right?
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. Do you remember my explanation of the super glide?
Yes.
There's an example right there. Just translating downward momentum into upward momentum. Put 2 and 2 together, and you have this stage. So this stage is a stage where it's kind of like 3 mini stages, and you're just constantly climbing up and up and up instead of like horizontally. So you need to like climb up to the top of the first part of the rocket to get to the second part of the rocket, climb to the top of the second part to get to the last part, and you just keep going that way. Well, there is a random-ish clip here. I'll just let it speak for itself.
Oh.
Whee! Whee! And we just skipped the first 2 parts of the rocket. This saves about 1 minute of real time. So, to explain what happened there, first of all, yeah. This clip was found by, I think, Sonic Boom 737. This is effectively a random clip. Like, you need to have a very specific amount of speed at a specific subpixel, and basically you just keep spin dashing there and hope for the best. It's dumb. It sucks. And I lost a chunk of time to it, but what can you do? So, let's do this slowly. You didn't see it because it was off screen, but like down here was a barrier box that I just did a super glide off of. So you kind of have to hit it off screen, and you have to, I think this is a 2-frame window because you need a lot of height out of this. If you're like a little too early, you're not gonna make it to the platform you're trying to make. And then I need to like kind of navigate my way right and left and zigzag around all these obstacles off screen. So this is by far the hardest super glide. So like I'm holding right to make sure I don't hit these spikes. And then I need to go left a bit. Well, this might be easier if I step through this slowly. This is a very complicated skip. Okay. So when I start my glide, I'm initially going right. If I keep going, not right, left. Directions are difficult. Blech. If I don't turn back to the right immediately, I'm gonna hit the underside of this spike. So I need to like turn right immediately upon initiating my super glide. But I also need to turn left right after I pass these spikes here. So like to kind of illustrate what I'm doing, I kind of need to like fall down, fall all the way down, super glide an item box, and then kind of zigzag around like that. And I need to like avoid the single spike, the group of spikes here, and I need to zigzag left and around because I want to land on like a platform here. You kind of need to like weave around like that all off screen. So the platform that I just mentioned is the one I want to land on here. So that's by far the hardest super glide. The next one coming up here is not as bad. There's an enemy I'm going to super glide off of right here. This is a 2-frame window, I believe. If I'm too early, it's not the end of the world because I have a backup to get back onto this platform if I didn't get enough height. But it costs like around 10 to 15 seconds, so it's pretty bad. But it's better than dying. Then I need to wait for this platform to be at the top of its cycle, so I have as much height as possible so I can get this super glide here. And sometimes I might not actually make that, but I also have another backup, which costs like 3 or 4 seconds. I need to wait for another part of that cycle, and it hits one of these 2 item boxes here. Or both. and I can make it all the way to the top here. So yeah, that's by far the coolest skip in the game. It's very difficult, but very rewarding. Tails can skip the entire stage. Just FYI. It's a much easier version of a trick, but Tails can beat the stage in like 50 seconds, I think. Knuckles takes like a minute and a half, roughly, give or take.
Are the different
But,
characters
yeah.
like pretty different for their
Yeah,
ILs?
Yeah, they're quite different actually. Yeah, so like, for example, the main thing with Sonic is his air dashing ability, which is basically his go fast ability, but it's really bad for like shortcuts, like the shortcut I'm taking here right now. When I show off the Advance 2 run with Sonic, how Sonic plays in that game is actually pretty similar to how Sonic plays in this game. It's just that the level design doesn't really favor Sonic as much in Advance 1.
Huh.
So he's like among the slower characters actually. Tails flies. And Amy, she can't spin dash, but she has a hammer and she jumps very high, which is a lot more powerful than you think, because the hammer gives her double speed when she hits a spring.
Okay.
So like, despite the
Yeah.
fact that Amy can't spin dash, the world record for Sonic and Amy are within like 5 seconds of each other. So that's how fast Amy actually is, despite the fact that she can't spin dash. It's kind of funny because like
Yeah.
when you play this game casually, you're like, Amy can't spin dash. Oh, I don't want to play as her.
That's,
But,
I
like-
remember never wanting to play as Amy because I thought she was so slow because she couldn't spin dash.
Yeah, I don't blame you. She has the most runs on the leaderboard. It's very interesting. But I don't know why. I guess people just like the raw platforming that she offers with her jumps. Yeah, this stage is kind of straightforward, except for that hit I just took. Oops. But yeah, like that skip I just did in Egg Rocket, the big vertical one, is like the big reason why I try to keep finishing runs, because that's by far the hardest trick in the game. And I'm probably like 30-40% consistent at it at this point, I think. To actually get it without, but like I also usually need to use a backup because I might not just get enough height from some of these super glides I did. And this boss is pretty straightforward. You just flip him by landing near him with some momentum, hit him, wait a bit, and then repeat. So yeah, now we have the X Zone, which is the last act in the game. And it's a bit of a throwback to Sonic 1 and 2. So right there, minor detail, I scrolled the screen up a little bit because this boss doesn't spawn until the screen is all the way scrolled up. So yeah, that setup is actually kind of interesting there because what I do here is I wait for a certain beat to the music, and I do like a jump, hold left at the peak, then jump at the edge of the platform and just hold left and A. And just, yeah, it usually works. It's pretty consistent to get the quick kill. If you don't, well, you probably just lost a lot of time. And this boss is another throwback to Sonic 2. Knuckles can punch him off screen there. Everyone can actually get the last hit off screen there. And now we have the last boss in the game, and this boss is garbage because it is a lot of luck. So basically, this boss kind of has like, in order to hit Eggman, he kind of has to like reveal his cockpit, and that takes a random amount of time. And whichever attack he uses is also random. And you want him to pull out the arm because that's when he's most vulnerable. With most other patterns, you can only get in like 1 or 2 hits. And hitting him is so tight that the most reliable way to get hits in is just to keep taking damage repeatedly over and over again and just survive off of one ring. The worst thing that can happen is if he goes to the left side, because if you get hit, your one ring will always go left. And if he's on the left side and you're not careful, your one ring will fly off screen and you're gonna have to fight him with 0 rings, which is not great. But time will be coming up. There we go. So I actually had a bit of trouble with landing the last hit. I got just kind of unlucky with these cycles. You can get like a less than 50-second time for the stage, but it is what it is. And like with the timing method that we use, I think this is the first sub 15-minute run, I think. Don't remember off the top of my head. I was just happy to finish a run that finally beat a 6-year-old world record. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm happy enough with this. Whatever, we'll upload it.
It looks like, yeah, you still have a lot of improvement, though, that can be done on the run.
Yeah, there is definitely a lot of room for improvement overall, but like, it's also difficult to just put a run together in general. Like, the first level literally has a frame perfect jump that saves like
right
10
away.
seconds. Yeah. And there's also a good chunk of luck to it, especially with the last boss, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Not as bad as the amount of luck in Advance 2, though. Oh, God.
Yeah, which I'm excited to see after this. We will be taking, chat, a quick little wellness break here while we set up for the next run, which will be, as we said, Sonic Advance 2, but the Sonic run. So make sure you stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Yep.
Hey, all you cool cats and gamers. Welcome back to Victory Lap, the GDQ hotfix show that highlights recent world record and PB runs and the runners that made it happen. I'm your host, Nuclear Reaction, and back with me is Kirby Master to show off Sonic Advance 2 and Sonic.
Yep, Sonic Advance 2. Yep.
Before we get started, I do have a couple announcements. If you're watching on YouTube, go to twitch.tv/gamesdonequick if you're interested in looking at our live content starting weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. Also, your subs, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, and bits help support weekly hotfix content. Please consider supporting our daily content if you enjoy these hotfix shows. Also, tune in tomorrow starting at 7 p.m. Eastern for Challenger Approaching, followed by Legally Cute. All right, Kirby.
Yeah. I forgot you had your announcements. Oops.
Yeah, no worries. I'm excited to get into it too.
Yeah, so I think you played Advance 1. Do you remember if you played Advance 2?
Yes, because Cream is in this one.
Cream, yeah. She's the character that like everyone loves for good reason, because bunnies are cute. And she has a chow named Cheese, and he literally cheeses bosses with him. Also, cream cheese.
Cream cheese.
Yep, cream cheese. Actually took me way too long to realize that.
Yeah, I
don't talk about
realized that until very recently, but you know, we don't have to, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we get any deeper into our embarrassment of not noticing that pun or wordplay, this game is the second game of the trilogy. It's the Go 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 Fast one, which introduces tricking and boost mode and so on. And it's very different from Sonic Advance 1. It looks similar in terms of like sprite work and art style and stuff, but the actual like gameplay is very different, and you're about to see that. So this run is with Sonic, and for a little bit more context, Combo Blaze actually had the world record for several years. He's a very good Sonic runner, especially for Advance 1 and 2 as Sonic. And he actually ran this game quite a few years ago at GDQ. I don't remember. It was like 2015 or something like that. I ran this game with Sonic at like 2017, 2018 with Sonic. But yeah, his world record was there for quite a while. And I finally beat it, admittedly, partially because of the rule change to use easy mode, which makes a big difference. But which admittedly is kind of awkward. But at the same time, I did beat it by 40 seconds. And this is not a bad run at all. I'm not happy with it, but it is a nice improvement. So yeah, I'll go ahead and give a countdown of 3, 2, 1, go. So there's a 3, 2, 1 countdown here. At the start of every stage, you have to have a 4-frame window to press right. Otherwise, you don't go as fast. And Sonic has the ability to air dash. So the inputting for all these air dashes I'm doing is double tap. So every time I'm doing an air dash, I am tapping right 2 times. And this game is all about maintaining boost mode. So like if you see all those holograms behind Sonic, that's when you're in boost mode. And you enter boost mode when you hit a boost pad, or when you hit certain springs, or if you run for a really long time. And like this game is all about boost mode. It is boost mode, boost mode, boost mode, boost mode, boost mode. And it's so important to maintain boost mode in this game, because you go fast, you accelerate more quickly, and you have a really restrictive speed cap when you don't have boost mode. So yeah, another 4-framer here. The first 2 stages are kind of straightforward, so I'm kind of just going over some of the basic mechanics. But air dashing itself is really useful because it kind of just cuts your vertical momentum, so you start going down and you get extra speed. So it's really nice because like the general idea behind most 2D Sonic games is that when you're going up, you slow down. When you're going down, you speed up. So like air dashing is a really nice way to like cut your speed so you start descending while gaining horizontal speed, especially when you do it off of a downhill slope. So this route here, this is the top route, and it's a very consistent route, but it's actually a few seconds slower than like the lower routes, but it's very consistent. And with how many dangerous things there are in this game, its consistency is very important in general. So a lot of people don't like bosses in this game. And they're all like bosses where you're just constantly running, and there's a reason why people really like Cream, because you can just cheese the bosses. So can Sonic. There we go. Bye.
I didn't expect that to be how you were going to fight there. But
Yeah, so that's surprisingly complicated. So like, first of all, that's the fastest possible time. You cannot go any faster than that because I'm literally hitting him on the first possible frame every hit. So it's because Sonic can air dash, he can catch up to the bosses instantly. No one else can do that, at least easily. So what I need to do is start rolling like, let me get the drawing pen. Like around here. Here. Yep, so around the right wheel is where he doesn't really have a hitbox as long as you're rolling. So I need to like roll in place. And then before I hit the center right here, you're gonna get hit, so I need to like initiate an air dash and then roll again. Get 2 hits in, and before I hit the center, air dash again, and just keep staying at that back wheel and just keep doing that repeatedly. So let me show that off again. And remember, the air dashing input is double tap right. So every time I'm doing that a little bit, that really fast air dash, I'm tapping right twice and then rolling instantly. So roll, air dash roll, and then for the last hit, I just jump into this left side with an insta-shield. So Sonic's actually like faster than Cream, interestingly enough, for like half the bosses in the game, because air dashing is so broken in this game.
so what
So
is
now we have
the
a
cream cheese for the for the bosses?
Cream has her child called Cheese. If you use Cheese, he attacks the boss for you.
Oh,
Yep, that's it.
so
you just
literally
keep
using
firing
cheese to cheese.
Yep, you just keep firing him over and over and over again. Yeah, so this is a level that's kind of notorious for people who don't like the game for interesting reason, because this is their level where you can kind of just hold right a lot and just beat the stage. I think you can literally hold right the entire time and you'll finish the stage. Obviously, this is a speed run, so we don't really want to do that. But you can kind of tell the stage has like a really nice flow to it because it's kind of just very horizontal, very, very hold right, go fast, air dash. So this stage has a lot of non-boost mode movement, so you can kind of, since you have such a restrictive speed cap when you're not in boost mode, you can kind of see me squeezing in some air dashes here. Because when you air dash off of a downhill slope, you get extra speed from it. That's generally the trend. Like, you want to air dash off of downhill slopes whenever you can, because when you do a normal jump off of a downhill slope, you're kind of jumping downward with more horizontal speed, and that complements the air dash, so you just go even faster. All right, so right here, let me show. Oh, I messed that up. Okay, so what's supposed to happen? Let me show that. Let me step through what's supposed to happen. What's supposed to happen is you need to slow down just a bit here, and then you want to like land on. Let's see. I need a different color. Like this rail right here. Why? Because you will fall through it. Rails only work in this game when you land on like the starting flat part right here. But we want to fall through this rail. So I kind of need to like try to jump like that, so I can fall through the rail. Unfortunately, I slowed down too much, so I hit the flat part of the rail. And the reason you also need to slow down a bit in order to fall through the diagonal part of the rail is if you don't slow down enough, you'll bonk yourself on, let's see, this wall right here and lose all your speed. So to recap all of that, you kind of need to, let's see. Oh, I went back a little bit too far, but that's okay. You kind of want to like travel a diagonal line, I guess. So kind of like this, and then down this way, like that. That's kind of what you want to do, but I land on a rail, and this actually cost me a lot of time because I lost boost mode. And you lose boost mode if you don't have enough horizontal speed when you land on the ground.
You
And
still
losing-
had to go
this-
down
yeah.
there regardless for the route.
Yeah, so thankfully this didn't cost me that much time. This game is ridiculously punishing because there are a lot of jumps and routes that just do not work if you don't have boost. So thankfully, I was taking that route anyways, and it's a route you can take without boost, so I didn't lose too much time from that. But there are spots where you can lose like 20 seconds if you lose boost mode. Oh, don't blink. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, air dash 5, air dash roll, 6, hit. Oh, ignore that hit. There we go.
What hit?
Yeah, what hit? So you can kind of see Sonic's air dashing being really broken again because it just lets him keep up with the boss really closely and get those hits in. Yeah, so this zone here is by far my least favorite zone in the game. You have to get the 4-frame start, because remember at the start of every stage there's a 3, 2, 1 countdown, and you have a 4-frame window to press right to go fast. And you need to get that in order to get boost mode right here, because again, you can get boost mode for running a long time. And then I need to do 2 really tight slope jumps to keep it, and I'll actually end up being off screen because I'm going so fast. So I need to jump off of that slope there, and then like this, just the start of this slope right here. So I can kind of smoothly squeeze myself in between this enemy here, and this corner. So I kind of end up air dashing like that. If you do it too late, you'll hit the enemy. If you do it too early, you'll hit the ceiling and lose boost mode. And that costs you a lot of time. Now, there are backups that I have, but it's still a bit of a time loss, unfortunately. Oh, so that rail has a random chance to just fling you into the ceiling. Just FYI. Yeah, this stage, to put it very kindly, is not very well programmed. It's very buggy. There's a reason why I crash on the stage a lot, because it's not well designed and very buggy. Like, for example, there is a random chance. Hold on. There is a random chance at the end of this rail that the game will just eat your jump, because you just happen to be on the wrong part of the floor there. And that slope, there's a slope coming up soon where if you jump on like a certain set of frames, you'll jump into the ground even though you're clearly on flat ground, and you'll lose all your speed. Which is disastrous because it's a Sonic Advance 2. So like there was basically a chance I could have just lost like 15 seconds there by just jumping. And the game just not working properly there. But yeah, we want to go in the bottom pipe here so we can maintain build up a lot of horizontal speed as we fall. And there's a random chance that you'll lose all your speed there too. There's a random chance you'll clip through the corner there. There's a random chance that you'll lose all your speed after landing there. You might be noticing a trend. This is not a good stage.
This is your favorite IL.
Well, I did actually get the world record for this IL last week with a 39-second time. So like that timeout you just saw is a 50-second time, and I am happy to get 50 seconds in a full game run, because that is a very good time with safe strats. The IL is 39 seconds. which really goes to show how many time savers there are with like really difficult tricks or stupid frame perfect jumps. Because the IL for the first music plant is basically frame perfect jump, frame perfect jump, frame perfect jump, like everywhere. It's so dumb. On top of like the random like physics that can just screw you over. Oh, by the way, there's a random chance that the game will kill your speed here, which did not happen.
Oh my gosh.
There's a random chance the game will kill all your speed after the next set of springs. There.
So the spaghetti I was talking about earlier.
You did it, and there is a random chance that you will clip into the ceiling up here and just lose like 2 seconds. And there's basically nothing you can do about it.
That's incredible that there's so in each of these like individual levels that there's so many just things that can.
It is very
affect your
frustrating.
run, and yeah, that's gotta be so frustrating.
It is very frustrating, but it is what it is, and you just deal with it. Okay, so you can kill this boss in 5 seconds. Unfortunately, I did not get the quick kill. So that's already like a lot of time lost right there. And that's just the nature of this kind of run where there's like a few really crucial quick kills you can get. So this spin dash here is kind of the gist of the quick kill right there. Except you do it at the start of the fight. So like you kind of need to land on basically where Sonic is right now. Like this tiny little platform here. You can't hit the edge, otherwise you'll hit the spikes. But if you're too far left, you'll hit Eggman and get hurt. So you have like a 3 or 4 pixel wide platform here that you want to stand on. And then you can just spin dash next to him and hit him 6 times in a row. I actually got it in my GDQ run. So if you watch that, you'll see me get it. I was very surprised I got it. But unfortunately, I did not get it. So that's like a 15 to 20 second time save right there if you get it. But it is what it is. Yeah, this boss is also very random because like how he sends out the platforms, the patterns are random, so you just kind of have to wing it and just hope that you don't get sniped by the turrets. Thankfully, since I'm Sonic, it's very easy to just catch up to him and hit him, but with anyone not named Cream, you have to kind of just play it very slowly, relatively speaking, and it's very hard to catch up to him. So, Ice Paradise. This zone, I think this zone was like by far the weakest part of this run, if I remember correctly. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to like slow down just enough so I can like keep boost mode as I land right there. Because again, in order to keep boost mode, you need to have enough horizontal speed when you're on the ground. Your horizontal speed in the air doesn't matter as long as you have enough horizontal speed when you land. So like, kind of go through that again. I'm trying to like slow down just enough so I can start turning left. Like slow down a bit, turn left, give myself some space so I can air dash just before I hit the ceiling right there and keep boost mode. And that is a very important air dash because you lose over 10 seconds if you lose boost here. Oh, there's a random chance to lose boost here, by the way, by landing there. And another air dash there. And this is a safety strat. So what I'm doing here is I'm rolling through the penguin, doing an air dash to build up some speed again, and then rolling up this half pipe up here, because if you don't roll, there is a pretty significant chance you'll clip through the wall and lose all your speed. So to kind of show how that looks in practice, there we go. That's actually slower than just running manually, but that kind of mitigates the risk of the game clipping you there on accident. You might be noticing a pattern with this game. Oh, yeah, that was a mistake there. So I lost boost mode. And the reason for that was because what I'm trying to do here, I slow down too much. So you can kind of see me still have boost here, but I just lost it right there for like 1 or 2 frames. And that just costed me like 5 seconds. And the reason I'm trying to slow down there is because if I'm going too fast, I'll hit the side of this thing here. So you kind of want to like fall down onto the spring and then kind of go around like that. But you need to slow down just a bit for that. But I slowed down too much, so I lost boost. Which is pretty bad because you can see how much slower I am right here when I'm supposed to have boost through this entire segment here. Thankfully, that's a nice backup. You can build up boost by running through there again. So it's not too bad, but I should be done with the stage by now. That's how much time I've lost overall. But Yeah, it's like a really good time with Sonic. It's like a 50-second time roughly, but I got over 1 minute, which is still not terrible, but it is what it is. Alright, so this is the second act. Is there much to say about this? A little bit of, oh, by the way, that is the one instance of Sonic's homing attack you'll see in this game. Yes, he has a homing attack. You press A near an enemy, you will homing attack it. He is about to homing attack that poor penguin, but there's a barrier in the way. Right, like that. So it's a really convenient way to build up some horizontal speed while getting over the penguin. There's a few more air dashes here. And that is a very complicated set of movement there. Let me find that spot again. Because like you pretty much need to like roll through 2 enemies on that platform. So what I need to do is I need to jump on this floor, like here, and air dash onto it. I need to roll through that penguin so I don't get bopped. Then I need to air dash after the roll, and then roll again, and then air dash out of that. So I'm basically doing like a jump, air dash, roll, air dash, roll, air dash, all at once, basically. Oh my god, falling back too much. I guess video seeking here is, oh well, it's fine. But yeah, there's a lot of little tidbits there. So to reiterate, air dash, roll like that. Just to make sure I can get through the penguin and the barrier smoothly. And the invincibility is very nice because I can just run through the penguin there. Let's see. I think I lose boost mode here. Yeah. So the game, when I tried to jump, the game thought I was trying to run up that wall up there. So it just killed my boost mode, which is very unfortunate, but you can get it back there pretty quickly. And then there is a random chance the game will kill all your speed there. So a little frustrating, not gonna lie, but you know, that's just the nature of this game. And you just lose so much time in those spots. Because yeah.
I knew before this you were a big fan of ILs, and now hearing you say how many times there's random chances in every level for unfortunate things to happen, that now I understand why you like doing the ILs.
Yeah, it's like I usually use safe strats to like mitigate those chances, but like there's some cases where you just can't do much about it really. It's a thing that's in most 2D Sonic games really, but it's particularly bad about in Advance 2, which is honestly a little frustrating because this game's like super built to be like fast. But like there's also like the physics are also just like not well, what's the word? I don't want to say well designed, but like not well suited for that. Yeah. And like this isn't necessarily just a speedrunning specific thing. Like there are a lot of spots where like you'll hit a boost pad and the game will just fling you into a wall casually as well. So like it's obviously exacerbated in a speedrun setting, but like this is absolutely an issue casually as well. But you know, like I still love this game and we take the game for what it is, the good and the bad. And I think this set of movement is pretty sick here. Yep, air dash, slow down so I can squeeze through there, and there we go. And you kind of won't need, maintaining air dash here, boost mode there is pretty tight. You can kind of see me slowing down just to avoid the ceiling. And then maintaining boost mode here is pretty difficult and important because like you kind of need to float around like that. Let me see if I can use a different color. Like that. And land on the spring. Because if you land on the ground right here, you're probably going to lose boost mode because you probably don't have enough horizontal speed. But the wind physics can be really janky, so it can be pretty unreliable, and you can sometimes accidentally hit the spikes if you're not careful. So notice that I still have boost mode. There's a hidden path up here. Jump over that. And you can kind of do a bit of a skip here to skip another loop. And here's another minor skip here. So you're actually kind of supposed to be on the underside of this platform, right here, and run there, but I just skipped it. Saves like a second. And that's Act 1. 48 seconds is a very good time. That was very good, actually. So, not many complaints there. I think Act 2 went pretty well here, too, if I remember correctly. So there is a cycle at the start that's like really difficult to make with all the other characters. But Sonic can make it really reliably because he's Sonic. Yeah, that cycle right there that we just had to wait for. Sonic is so fast, we had to wait for that cycle. Whereas everyone else is, you have to play perfectly to make it, basically. And we go by real time for this game. So like waiting out the start of the stage for a cycle is not something you want to do if you're optimizing for real time. Oh, okay, so one thing to note, ring count's important in this game. Why? Because the more rings you have, the more air mobility you have.
Huh. So it's kind of like, I was going to say, it's kind of like Mario Kart, but not.
Actually, it kind of is like
Kind
Mario
of,
Kart, except
yeah.
instead of speed, it's like more acceleration, basically. So like these jumps here, you kind of have to be wary of your ring count in order to make these reliably. It's not as hard with Sonic because he has some really good horizontal tricks, but like you have to watch your ring count in this stage in particular, because if I backtrack a little bit, I have 48 rings right now. I need to backtrack a bit more. There we go. So this is kind of close to the start of the stage. There is that ring box up there is a random ring box. It can give you 1 ring, 5 rings, 10, 20, 30, or 50. And I got 5, which is not good. It's not that big of a deal if you're Sonic, but if you're like a much slower character like Tails or Cream, but that was another random ring box, by the way. It's a pretty big issue. You need like 80 or 90 to make these giant gaps really reliably with them. So that random ring box just gave me 10, which is also not great, but we're Sonic, so it's fine. If I were Tails or Cream, these gaps right here would be way harder to make, just because I just do not have enough rings to make it easily.
Now, is there such thing of having too many rings, or no? Like if you had gotten a 50?
Not in this stage in particular, but like, it's not like having too many rings is bad, but rather you have to adjust for it.
Okay. So
Like there is
knowing that though that does affect your movement and how to adjust that if you collect more or less rings.
Like there's a YOLO jump off screen you want to do with some characters in the last stage in the game, I think, where you kind of need to jump off of an enemy. In time attack mode, random ring boxes are set to 10 rings, so it's a very reliable strat. But in the full game run, it's a random ring box that you have to rely on. So like if you get 1 or 5 rings, you have to jump like, you have to compensate for that by jumping a lot later. But if you got like a 50 ring box, you have to jump a lot earlier because you know you're going to cover a lot of extra distance with that. You kind of have to just adjust appropriately. So this boss is very notorious. Chocolate Dave likes to call this Big Slappy because that hand is a 1-hit KO. So this boss is very notorious because not only because of the hand, but because the boss himself is really annoying to hit, because you have to hit Eggman like from the top typically, only like up here. Like hitting him from the side is not going to work, and he has spikes on the bottom. For Sonic, if you time a frame perfect insta shield on the side, you can hit him through the side, which is what I'm trying to do here. So there's another one there. And another one there. So that was a very good fight. So if we want to watch that again, just to illustrate like how difficult this fight is, I'm getting a quick free hit there because Sonic can air dash. I got an insta shield hit there. 3rd hit, another insta shield hit. 4th hit from the top. 5th hit, missed that one. 5th hit from the side. 6th hit from the side. Yeah, it's a very notorious boss. Most people casually hate this boss the most. I don't blame you. I don't hate it as much because it's a very predictable boss. It is random, but it is very predictable. Like you can tell when the hand's about to move. The timing is consistent. There is a much worse boss than that boss, though. But yeah, I forgot to say this. I don't think it's terribly bad, but the background can get pretty flashy at times for this next zone coming up. So I do want to give a bit of a warning to anyone who might have some photosensitivity to be aware for the next like 2 or 3 minutes. I completely forgot about this. Oh my God.
No, you caught yourself. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know just in case.
I just completely forgot about that. But yeah, the background's actually just about to get kind of bad. So just be aware if you're sensitive to the light. So this is definitely one of the hardest stages in the game. So I actually already messed up because the ring count at the start is very important. So what I want to do is get 12 rings. And the reason for that is because, well, I got hit because I'm dumb, but that happens. The more rings you have, the less time it takes for you to get boost mode by running. So this stretch of land right here is just enough space for me to get boost mode if I had 12 rings. I did not have 12 rings, unfortunately, so I did not get boost mode. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world because there are boost pads coming up to regain boost mode. So there's one right there. And then I need to do a really tight trick here in between. You saw the enemy in the spikes. The spikes are flashing. I was trying to pause on the frame where it was displaying, but yeah. And then this jump right here is also really difficult because you need to kind of jump in between those bumpers and this wall here. So you kind of want to like fall diagonally, like, see, kind of like that perfectly. Because if you're going too horizontally, you'll hit this wall here, this one. And if you're going too vertically, you're either going to hit the bumper to the left, which is like, you don't see it right now, but it's like back here. Or you're not going to have enough speed to keep boost mode, which I did, but the game sub-pixeled me. So you also have a random chance to lose all your boost mode by jumping there, which is frustrating, but conveniently enough, this spring gives you boost mode. So it's not the end of the world. And that fall right there is ridiculously difficult because, like, let me see if I can backtrack a little bit. There we go. Let me see. So basically, as I pass down this, like, let's see, this marker on the wall, you want to like start holding left, but you need to start holding left at exactly the right amount of time, so you can kind of just drift downward like that. If you start holding left too early, you'll fall down, like you'll fall like this. And then you'll hit this wall, and you won't have any horizontal speed, so you'll just fall down and land on this block. But if you hold left too late, you'll just kind of go down here and land on the block anyways. So like, and which unfortunately I held it too late, so I landed on the block. So the light blue scenario is what happened. So I kind of just go back and hit that spring. So unfortunately that loses time, but conveniently enough, that spring also gives you boost mode. So like, part of running this game is just accepting the fact that you're gonna lose boost mode, you're gonna screw up, or the game will hate you, both probably. And so you just have to know like all your backups of like, where can I get boost mode from these springs or boost pads, or what are these alternate routes that I can take advantage of to mitigate my time loss. Like that spring right there also gives me boost mode. Unfortunately, I slowed down just a bit too much, so I lost boost, but I have 80 rings, so I got boost mode back pretty quickly. But yeah, this stage is really difficult. I'm generally happy enough with a sub 130 time. I think the record's like a sub 110 by me. I don't remember off the top of my head, which really goes to show like how much time I've lost compared to an IL. But that's just the nature of full game runs with this game. All right, so that is a very unfortunate mistake. I misjudged my cycles, so I fell on the wrong route. So this lost me a decent chunk of time. So this is me not following my own advice and knowing my backup strats, but that's okay because we've converged on the correct route now. So I mitigated my time loss. No worries. So there's a bit of some shenanigans that just happened there. So basically what I'm trying to do is I need to press A on this jump ramp right here. So the frame that you press A as you hit a jump ramp matters. The later you press it, the more distance and speed you get. The earlier you press it, the less distance and speed you get it. I need to hit A as late as possible so I can land on that floor there. Then I need to roll through those speed shoes, then air dash to break out of boost mode. And then I need to jump off of that slope and then kind of fall through this gap here, jump over that spring and air dash, jump over that spring and air dash. And I'm actually skipping like a lot of parts of the stage where you're kind of supposed to loop back and forth repeatedly. But those jumps are pretty tight to make. They're somewhat reliable. They just take practice. And then we're at the end of the stage. So if I didn't make the mistake of falling into the lower route like at the start of the stage, this would have been a pretty good time actually, but it is what it is. Nukes.
Yeah.
How much do you like luck?
Well, you're asking someone who plays randomizers full time, so I like it for my runs, but probably not as much for speed runs.
Yeah. So casuals will complain about Big Slappy. I complain about merry-go-round. So I just did some RNG manipulation that only really works for the first pattern. So like as long as you kind of tap right a little bit, like if you pay attention to the input display like up here, yes, that's an input display. You can kind of notice that I'm just tapping right. So like notice the input display and pay attention to that. Right there. So you kind of notice me tapping right a little bit. And that guarantees that the yellow platform will not spawn spikes. So you can always get a free hit right here, no matter what. And then afterwards, the rest of the fight's a crapshoot. So, and the number of times you bounce off of Eggman is also effectively random, so I'm just hoping for repeated bounces. And I made that fight look easy. It's gonna look easy in any good run. That fight can take you 40 to 50 seconds. That's how bad this fight is, because like if you get a really unlucky bounce, you will only bounce off of Eggman like once instead of like 4 times in a row. And he can give you patterns where like all 4 platforms are unusable. So you just cannot jump up to him. And he can do that as many times as he wants in a row. And it is very infuriating. But I got very lucky this fight, both with the patterns and with the bounces. So I got like a 10-second fight there. All right, so this is by far my favorite zone in the game. So the ring count's actually really important here because, and I actually got a barrier, not because it's necessary, but because it's a nice safety. Because I need 45 rings to get boost mode coming up. That's why I got the barrier. And one minor thing to note about that fall I just did, not that one. If you're playing this game and you're falling down here, don't hug this wall. Don't hug this wall. Don't hold right here. You can kind of see that I'm kind of drifting away from it. And why do I not hold right on against that wall? It's because if you hold right on the wall and you land here, there's a random chance the game will just clip you into out of bounds into like a wall that's all the way up there and you're soft locked. So don't hug that wall or else you'll soft lock. So yeah, this is the piece of land that I'm trying to get boost mode off of, and that's where I needed 45 rings. Unfortunately, I misinputted that and didn't make that gap with an air dash, but not the end of the world. I know my backups. And I'm generally playing the stage pretty safely because this is a very challenging and dangerous stage, but it's also a very fun stage. I'm doing an air dash there to keep boost mode, jumping over this cannon and air dashing over, doing another air dash over that gap, and then landing on this rail is really important because this is the only way to quickly get on top of this top route. Because if you miss this top route, you kind of have to zigzag in like an S shape around like that to get back to the top route, and it's pretty time consuming. But that's the first act. Second act, I don't remember if this went smoothly in my PB, but hopefully it does because this is by far my favorite stage in the game. Doing an air dash there to collect some extra rings for air mobility. And lots of gravity shenanigans because every Sonic game's got to have that. Keeping boost mode there is practically random, by the way. That's a random ring box. So this is the spot I was talking about where like if you get a random ring box with some other characters, like there's a YOLO jump you want to make, but like you might have to adjust depending on how many rings you get. Because, so I got 10 rings there, but there's eventually a jump right there. This jump I'm making right here where you kind of want to like jump all the way down. There's like a little rat like down here. You want to bop it and then you'll kind of just bounce off of it and land on the boost pad, basically. So that's the jump that you kind of have to adjust for depending on how many rings you get from the random ring box. This is actually one spot where easy mode loses time because that rat's no longer there in easy mode because it's removed. So you actually lose a lot of time in this stage by playing on easy mode with Knuckles, Amy, and Cream. because they don't have a fast way to get up to this route right up here since the rat is gone. So that's kind of an interesting little tidbit where easy mode loses you time. Now we're getting some speed shoes and another random ring box and hoping for a lot of rings, which we did. We got 50 rings, so that's really nice. And since I have 133 rings, I get boost mode like almost instantly. And I'll let the rest of the stage speak for itself because it's go fast. Well, I lost boost, but that's okay. I get it back instantly. And you can kind of see like me getting boost mode so quickly because I have so many rings right now. But that 50 ring box coming in clutch there and mitigating the time loss from the mistakes I've made. And then watch this. Land on the boost pad or not. Just pretend I landed on that boost pad. Just pretend I landed on that. I kind of have a visual cue for that for anyone interested in that, but because running Sonic games is all about having like cues for these kinds of things, like visual cues, audio cues. I'm more of an audio kind of person, but there are some things where visual cues work. So like I typically wait on the edge of this platform, and then when in order to land on that, let's see. I want to wait until the top of this platform lines up with this line right here. So you kind of see this line in the background here. I want to wait until this blue line is lined up with the orange line, basically. And then I spin dash. So you can kind of see like a few frames after that on pause, I release my spin dash. Unfortunately, I have too many rings. So that's why I overshot that. So that's one spot where I didn't adjust for how many rings I have. If I paid closer attention to that, then I would have tapped left a little bit after that spin dash so I can land on that boost pad. But since I had so much air mobility, I overshot that a bit. But yeah, here's a boss. You can manipulate the gravity for this boss by pressing up. Ideally, he should get deleted in like 10 seconds. There's 3 hits because air dashing's broken. 4, 5, 6. This is probably like my weakest boss in terms of execution. I've gotten better at it, but it's a boss I do need to sit down and practice because as Sonic, you can definitely get like a less than 10-second fight pretty reliably. But if you like Sonic Advance 2 bosses, I hope you like Sonic Advance 2 bosses because the last stage in the game is a boss rush. Thankfully, they all have half health. So in easy mode, they only have 3 HP each for the most part. So that boss died pretty much instantly. For the next boss, I'm kind of doing a setup where I kind of come to a complete stop and wait until Sonic hits the left edge of the screen right there. You can kind of see him posing. And then I air dash to catch up to him. And then try to squeeze into quick last hit. So yeah, it's kind of funny because I think like the animations, all the death animations take way longer than the actual stage. Because like there's only been like 8 seconds of actual gameplay. Oh, don't blink. There we go.
Oh, there, revenge from earlier.
Yeah, so that is actually not the same quick kill.
Yeah.
Because like the quick kill of the original fight required landing on the platform. Mm-hmm. But this boss is closer to the right side of the screen in the refight, which means you could kind of nudge yourself into the upper right corner. So let me demonstrate that again and pause when it gets there. It's right there. You could kind of, he's actually pretty noticeably closer to the right edge of the screen, so you could kind of nudge yourself like here and kind of just keep repeatedly hitting him over and over again. So you don't actually have to like land on this platform. You can just, as long as you time your jump properly, you can just hit him repeatedly. So like the quick kill for this refight is way easier than the quick kill for the original fight. And then we have the 4th boss. I actually have a setup for this. I actually, when you press and hold up with a character, they pose. So I actually wait for a specific animation for Sonic stretching, and then I go. There we go. So I wait until he does his second stretch, and then I go for the air dashes. Because that gives me enough time for the uphill slope to come into play because like one of the things you have to pay attention to when fighting these bosses is the floor, because the floor like goes on a pattern of going uphill then downhill like that, and you can take advantage of that because like if you know there's an uphill slope coming up, then you can try to get like an uphill slope jump to get a lot of height and hit the boss. Alternatively, you also have to avoid the downhill slopes because if you jump off of a downhill slope, you're not going to get much height, so you're not going to get a productive hit from that. Here's the dumb luck-based boss. No way to manipulate this one, unfortunately. You can kind of see the boss being a bit of a troll. Ooh. And there we go. He was actually just about to fire at me. I knew I had enough time because I fought this boss so many times that I just have it ingrained in my muscle memory of like, when is he going to start firing next? Because while the platforms are random and really annoying, the timing of Eggman's shots are not random. So like, there's always exactly the same amount of time between each set of shots. So like, as you fight that random boss more and more in the merry-go-round, you kind of just get a feel for like, when is he about to shoot? Do I have enough time to try to squeeze in a hit safely? And not to toot my own horn or anything, but I fought the boss enough to know that like I had just enough time to squeeze in a hit at 0 rings before he fired his shots in that case. And here's the last boss. You have to hit the head 6 times, I think. Sonic doesn't have a way to cheese this boss, unfortunately, but with some spin dash jumps, you can kind of get some hits in. Like that. These platforms are not random. This boss is actually not random at all, conveniently. It's a hit. Ideally, I would have tried to land on the middle platform that just went up, but I didn't. And then there's another quick last hit, and that's the entire run.
GG.
GG.
That's funny that the final boss is the part that has no randomness to it.
Yeah,
because I feel like
complete opposite.
I feel like in a lot of Sonic games at least that I've seen, that tends to be where a lot of the randomness comes, is at the very end or at the final boss. So
oh yeah, in this case it's the 5th and 6th boss that have a lot of luck. The merry-go-round especially.
Yeah.
But like, one example to illustrate your point was the Sonic Advance 1 run we just saw. The last boss itself has a lot of luck to it, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. We deal with it. But yeah, yeah, that's Sonic Advance 2. If you are interested in running these games, we do have a Discord. We are in the general Sonic speedrunning Discord, so you can find the Discord links in any of the speedrun.com pages. These games are really fun. It's funny because like, Advance 3 is actually by far my favorite. But it is definitely a longer run than 1 and 2, but it's by far my favorite to run. But I do enjoy running all 3 a lot. But I definitely want to say thanks to Nukes for hosting me on this. This was a lot of fun. This is like my first time doing something like this, so hopefully this was entertaining and what's it called? What's the word? Educational?
informative.
Insightful? Informative. There we go. That's the word. That's
I think
the word.
that's the good word. Yeah.
Yep.
It was.
There we
It
go.
definitely
Informative.
was. And I saw someone say this earlier that I think in particular Sonic runs, they go so fast that being able to watch it in this format where you pause and explain the tricks is super beneficial if you just want to kind of know more about how the speedrun works and what speedrunners are looking for during the run.
Yeah, and like we only have a limited amount of time, so there's all the things I went into detail on. It was only like a fraction of like a lot of the little nuances or difficult jumps that you have to do. Yeah, Sonic games tend to be like that. You just see them go fast, but there tends to be a lot more going on behind the scenes where you have to like slow down just enough for this jump, or you have to like jump off of this part of the slope, or things like that, which is something that's hard to really see unless you run the game yourself or see like an explanation like this.
Yeah, chat, I have been posting his link, but I do want to encourage everyone, please go follow Kirby Master if you enjoyed this run. Kirby is very, very knowledgeable, like in a plethora of speedruns, runs a lot of different games. Is this what you're going to be grinding out right now still if people visit your channel? Or what are you working
I've been
on?
So this week I've been streaming Sonic Advance 3 Best Ending Speedrun, so that's basically 100%. I actually plan on doing a terrible idea this weekend of doing a marathon on my stream of all 3 Sonic Advance games, best ending, which is like all the emeralds, all the supersonic endings of all 3 games in one go. It's going to be like a 5-hour stream, which for me it's long. Okay, for me it's long. I know like a lot. I know you stream for a lot longer than that, but but that requires like getting all the emeralds in Sonic Advance 1, 2, 3, and beating Sonic Advance 1 and 2 with every character as well. Well, besides Amy in Advance 2, but she's considered a bonus character. So I have to beat Sonic Advance 1 with Sonic, Amy, Knuckles, Tails. I have to beat 2 with Sonic, Cream, Tails, and Knuckles, along with all the emeralds, and then get all the emeralds in Advance 3 as well. But that's going to be a lot of fun, though. But I do stream... Recently, I've been streaming a lot of the Advance series, speedrunning-wise. That's pretty much been my primary focus. I also occasionally stream like Metroid randomizers or Zelda randomizers, and I also speedrun Fire Emblem games. I offered Cindered Shadows for GDQ, so fingers crossed. But if not the end of the world. But yeah. Otherwise, you can find randomizers and speedrunning stuff on my channel. I definitely want to give a shout out to all the other runners of these games. There are a few of us, but we do exist. If I start naming names, I know I'm going to forget someone, so I won't, but you are all pretty cool. And definitely want to thank Nukes for having me on this again.
Yeah, thank you for showing us Sonic Advance and Sonic Advance 2. A lot of fun.
Thanks.
Chat, that is the end of GDQ Hotfix for the night. But thanks for watching. I encourage everyone to stick around, join us for our raid at the end of stream, and also make sure to tune in tomorrow starting at 7 p.m. Eastern for Challenger Approaching and Legally Cute. Everyone have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Night.